tomorrow. I apologize. I have 8:30 tomorrow. Sorry. But it ends at 9:45. Yeah, sorry. Because we have to review for our exam tomorrow. Friday. But we had exams next week. Yeah. Because we come back from break. We had a week of class. Yeah.
I just want to say thanks to the
folks at Firehouse Subs and our pal Larry for sponsoring our early signing day special, like always. Terry Ford, Jack Belcher, Ed Bird back in studio punching the buttons. Thomas is here, Jeannie, as we roll today. Point up everything that happened for early signing day. So far, Jeremy Frey has given his letter of intent the top recruit in South Carolina's hopefully solid haul this year, top 20 haul. So far, South Carolina getting their top guy to sign his letter of intent early this morning. My man. We're waiting on the others. Again, it's a 3-day deal, Jack. It's a 3-day deal. And so if something doesn't happen today, everybody can breathe. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. And like you said in the first riff of the show, the only South Carolina commit to keep an eye on about flippage would be Landon Duckworth.
And I think he's still going to sign something. That seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, and the other thing too is who South Carolina can flip.
Carson Baker, potentially, the running back that was very interested in Florida. I think that's one that could be interesting to see if South Carolina can flip. But, John Summerall, they have made contact with Baker, it seems, and we'll see if South Carolina can fend that team off. I think North Carolina is another school interested, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's now that because Baker has no connection with Summerall and the crew there, so that is a thing. And they're trying to get a connection with him, but it's kind of tough for you. You guys got the gig. Hi, how you doing? My name's John.
Yeah.
What's up? And so we'll see. But Baker he's the number one flip candidate, right?
I would say so, yeah.
How about our boy Walker Dutch Fork?
I was asking Chris about that the other day because him and Wes are so in tune with this stuff. I don't know. I mean, he went to his visit at Michigan against Ohio State. I know Michigan lost, but they've held on to him for this long. I know Walker really likes South Carolina,
and he's been multiple times, right? Yeah,
multiple. He's been it feels like he's been there every single home game this year.
Wow.
Besides Clemson.
And look, we always talk about how Williams-Brice is such a phenomenal vibe to be at the game at Willie B. And I guess, but also, going to the big house in Ann Arbor with 100,000 people against Ohio State ain't a bad trip. Even though, again, Michigan got smacked for the first time in they did their 4-game win streak that ended against Ohio State. But so we'll see what happens with Walker. It'll be interesting. Can South Carolina flip that one? But it feels like Baker, the running back, is the number one candidate to get flipped.
Probably. And then we'll see about Walker. I mean, let's see when he's making his. I don't think it's been. I know when Chris or Wes put out their report yesterday, it hadn't been revealed yet when Walker's making his decision. But obviously, it's got to come sometime over the next 3 days.
All right, so we'll keep you up to date on what's going on for early signing day, obviously, and all here till noon at Firehouse Sub, Main Street, Columbia. Okay, last night, Gamecocks losing in overtime to Virginia Tech. Again, let's start with the positive to give South Carolina credit. It looked like they were going to get the doors blown off in the first few minutes by Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech was having their way in the paint. South Carolina wasn't making shots, having a tough time guarding the Hokies. And then all of a sudden, South Carolina just deliberately got themselves back in the basketball game. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought when Meechie Johnson went to the line with a chance to give them the lead late, I thought, here we go. And Meechie clunked too far. Meechie did not have a good last few minutes of regulation.
He was not clutch last night. Missed those free throws. I still am trying to figure out why he never got a shot off.
I know, and that's, look, all these things intersect with why you lose, right? I mean, in overtime, there was some clunky decision-making and some shots you go, but in the end of regulation, you focus on that first, because there is no overtime if you can execute. South Carolina, neither team scored the last 2.5 minutes of regulation. I mean, it was so. But the thing was, like on that last possession,
Yeah.
Lamont talked about not calling a timeout. Now, in theory, I've got no issue if you get the ball and go. The defense is scattered.
Yeah.
They can't put a strategy together
to guard you if you call timeout and set up play. I get all of that, and Lamont is not wrong.
I'm not.
But my thing with that always is this: who's getting the ball and making the decision? If you have a true point guard, like if you have Talon Cooper running up and taking that rebound away from your big and going down court, I am all for not calling timeout. Because I've got a real point guard, and I know a consistently solid decision maker with rocks, right? So go, man, go. Defense is scattered. Talon, go do you. Because Talon also made a lot of big shots 2 years ago. So I have with Michi, you got a lot of Michi last night for the most part.
Yeah.
But Michi is not
He's not a point guard.
And Michi's got the ball, and basically Michi's, again, I get Lamont's idea, you bring the ball up, the defense is scattered, Michi stops and starts giving the end one mixtape, dribble. You got Eli Ellis off the right corner, the other three guys are off on the left, basically giving Michi the one-on-one, right? And you scatter. And Michi just dribble, and he's not. So I'm watching your TV going, you can't hear me. I'm like, Michi, you gotta go. You gotta do something, man. So Michi doesn't get that. And Michi to me is better when he's doing that. And make a drive, make something happen. Exactly. You get fouled, dish it off to the collection, which they're going to do. They're going to get help. Dish that thing off into the open guy. Make a play. Go to yourself and get it. Just out there dribble. It was like, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching Lamont, right? Because you can see him. Because once Michi seems stuck, I was Lamont going to call time. He's got one in his pocket, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, and Michi's doing nothing. And I'm looking up Lamont, watching see if you go call timeout. Because you still got 3 or 4 seconds, and you can still now you can set up a play, you can run something, and so I was just like, guys, let's come on now.
And it's not even that. He also, Michi just never got a shot off.
No.
He decided to kick the ball out to Mike Sharma Jones with like a second left.
And by that time it was over.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You gotta make that decision quick. You can't sit there and dribble. You gotta know the time. You gotta know the time. It was just you've got to get something off there. And so the whole thing was a cluster. I get what Lamont was thinking in theory, but again, this goes back to if you're not in the offseason, you don't have a true one, a true point guard, a true quarterback of your offense. Those are the moments, or really a true alpha dog. Because even like an alpha dog will take that ball and go, right? You have a true number one option alpha dog on offense. That is like when the shot clock is low or the game clock is low or you need a bucket, he's the guy that goes, you have to get the ball and get the heck out of my way. And you really, and look, Michi can be that at times, but he's not consistent with that.
He's never been.
No.
That's the problem. So,
and that really was Virginia Tech wins the game in overtime. And they had that, but it's just the idea that you still had an opportunity in the last 5 minutes. But really, you had that chance to finish this thing off at the end of regulation. And that was disappointing.
You never scored after me, after I think it was Mike that got the look back, dunked on the tip it for the end one. Never scored after that again. The other thing, Terry, I think needs to be addressed here. 54 points in the paint for They have no interior. It's going to kill them when they get to the SEC.
Defensive end of the court is an issue. You really have two guys. Moss is a good defender, and he's not playing. And when Michi locks in, Michi can guard, but Michi doesn't consistently lock in. The rest of these guys, defense isn't their thing. I mean, you look. Interior, they got no defenders. They got no rim protection. They got no paint enforcer. And you saw last night, Virginia Tech did what they wanted. Butler did what they wanted to paint. And they're on the perimeter. Look, I love Eli Ellis's 1-2. I love his passion. I love his intensity. On offense, he's one of their 5 best offensive players. He's got to be on the court. But he is a liability on defense. He absolutely is.
He can definitely be a liability.
Yeah, he can't. Again, he's a small guy. He's not twitchy athletic. He doesn't have lateral quickness. And you saw last night there were times he got lost offensively. He just gets On the perimeter, he's going to be a problem. He's got to guard man in the SEC.
No, totally.
So this team defensively, all in all, is going to have problems this year. And it's not like Lamont can go to like, you can't play zone because you can't rebound. So you're going to get killed in the last few zone. So they're going to have problems on defense.
It's a problem when two of your guards are leading rebounders.
Yeah.
Like, you need more out of Elijah Strong.
Three
Three
points
points
last
last night. Elijah Strong had 3 points
And
last
you win
night.
one of 9 free
And
And by the way,
he
he took a three in crunch time
Yeah, like
last night
Sarah.
too. And the thing is though, you're right now coming into the game, you're under 30% 3-point shooter.
I
I
get
get
last year
last year
shot
shot
36%
36%
from
from
three,
three,
which
which
was
is
a
a career
high.
high.
And that's
And that's
above
above
average,
average, to be fair.
But
But
again,
again,
watching Elijah Strong play like he has, standing out on the 3-point line, chucking threes is not his game. He's much more efficient and effective inside the 3-point line. Him out there, he should never take 9 threes in a game.
I agree.
Just
Just
saying.
saying.
It's a lot.
So
It was a rough
go
goal last night.
Losing
Losing
in
overtime,
Virginia Tech 86-83 in the ACC SEC
challenge.
We'll come back and jump into what's going on early signing day. We're doing our special. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs,
live from Firehouse,
Main
Main
Street,
Street,
Columbia.
Columbia.
Terry
Terry
Ford,
Ford, Jack Belcher, Ed Bird, Genie, Thomas. We're here till noon on the game.
All right. Oh, where we're at, I know the video's a little dark. I know. I gotta do something with I gotta mute the volume too. Hold on there.
You need me to move it again, Sarah?
No, it's nothing we can do. The lighting is the lighting.
Okay.
Nothing much we can do about the lighting.
Yeah, when I was watching that game last night,
just did that. Okay, I just did that. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's do it. Well, if you're wrong, I'll never talk to you again. How happy would that make you? That's right. Here we go.
He was just trying to figure out the camera. I saw his eyes. And then they were just trying to pull the mic. She said, "There's like, yeah." So I was just getting back and that's the audio. Yeah. So I was thinking, that girl was actually, she remember her saying she at least had Stella. And I was like, oh, like they like tried. She didn't kind of react. So sit back and at least do that.
Keeping you caught up on what's happening on early signing day 2025. Terry Ford, Jack Belcher, you'll have Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell as well from Gamecock Central throughout the day, and they will definitely be here at 11 because they want to eat subs. Because they want to do the Gamecock Central takeover hour.
Yeah.
It was funny, Jack. I was sitting there, and we also have Ed Bird back in Mission Control, Thomas, Jeannie, all here to help us get this extravaganza going. Because Chris is like, hey, we're really fluid today. We don't know what's up, what's going on, and all these other things. But again, this is a fluid day. It just is. And so I was like, yeah, but and then I just sent him a nice little image of a firehouse sub. Dude, if you can't make it, it's all good. Jack and I will handle the business.
Yeah, we'll eat.
Because you know what? Because we have manners and we're gentlemen, and we don't want the food to go to waste.
Exactly. That'd be a real shame.
Just run with that. All right, so just a quick update. National early signing day for South Carolina. Obviously, the big dog, Darius Gray, signs with South Carolina. Arguably looked at as the best interior offensive line prospect in the country, depending on what service you look at. So South Carolina holds on to Gray. And the thing with Gray was, again, when Lonnie Teasley was let go, some of the concern was how's that going to affect the recruitment of Darius Gray. And there were teams going after him, trying to look. That's what happens. No one goes, well, gee, verbal, leave him alone now. No, it's almost like they get even more intense. So South Carolina, to their credit, held on to Gray. And today he signs. But remember, that was a concern when Lonnie Teasley was let go.
It was.
Yeah,
a lot of those guys. Zion, Gillies, too. I mean, those are all guys. Like anyone South Carolina has, Anthony Baxter, like anyone they had signed or committed on the OL, it's like when you fire a coach, there's always a little bit of risk. But ultimately, I think Shane Beamer put it the best. I'm paraphrasing here. Like, you don't just commit for the coach. You commit for the program and the culture and the school. Like, it's not just about it's a factor, the coach. Like, they are your recruiter, but it can't be the only reason you commit to a school.
I mean, and Shane's right. In the perfect world, you're committing to the school because I love all the opportunities they have for me, and they have a wonderful journalism department.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's like, let's just be real. I want to win, and I want to go to the NFL. What are you going to do? Well, there, I want to have fun and win, and how are you going to get me to win? And really, that's the two things that these high-level kids are looking for.
Totally.
And because that's how they've been groomed, right, Jack? I mean, that's how you're groomed from, and it's so interesting.
Yes.
Notice the word I picked. So interesting that, these kids anymore, it's 12, 13 years old. You're all of a sudden, if you've got that type of talent, it's recognized at almost that early of an age, you're being groomed to get to a college that's going to prepare you to go to the league.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, so for Gray, look, it's good that you got him locked down. It's good that you got Baxter locked down. We'll see about, I think Gillies, I don't know when he's signing, but I'm sure he'll be here very soon. I mean, no reason to believe he would flip or anything. But look, they've done a good job, I think. And give Lonnie Teasley some credit, even though he is gone. Like, he may not have been the best at his job in terms of getting the most out of the offensive line. But one thing he is, Derek, he's a good recruiter, and it's no accident that he was able to help South Carolina land Darius Gray, the top interior offensive line.
Cy Thompson was a 5-star.
Exactly.
You got him. I mean, you've gotten 4 stars on the offensive line. Lonnie was a hell of a recruiter. He just really was a very good recruiter.
It's just the
Which is, And look, just you were talking on the live stream.
Yeah.
I think what kept Lonnie here probably longer than he should have been because of lack of development was he was such a good recruiter. And if you're Shane, I can see Shane going, this guy's bringing in the talent. I just got to hope we can figure out a way for it to get developed. But finally, at some point, you got to throw your hands up and say, look, these guys aren't developing. Josiah Thompson went backwards this year. Let's just be honest.
Big step back.
And so at some point, Shane's got to throw up his hands and say, look, guy's a heck of a recruiter, but we're just not developing these players.
I'll be interested to see who they hire in the process. And I think Sean Elliott will be a popular name for this O-line job, but ultimately, I mean, I think honestly too, don't you think it kind of comes down to who South Carolina hires for the OC? Because I mean, I'm sure the OC will probably have some say in who they hire as the OL coach.
You would think, right, that the OC, well, it depends on what kind of OC you get, right, Jack? If you get a guy who's got skins in the game and has a resume, he's going to say, well, I'm coming, but I'm picking my staff. I'm bringing currently OCing him. If it's a guy like let's just pick our guy Baker in East Carolina, then we'll eventually be here. Let's just hypothetically, let's just play the game. You're Baker, and I say, hey man, you want to be the OC at a Power 4 school in the SEC? You're probably going to go, and you're going to say this is going to bring some of my staff. We'll talk about that when you get here, and you're still going to be excited for the opportunity to step up, right?
Totally.
Or the guy at Old Dominion, or whatever the case. I'm sure Shane would say to someone, look, the guys on my staff now, I love Mike Furry. He's done a great job as a wide receivers coach. Sean Elliott's been a successful offensive line coach. Marco Blackman is blah, 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 whatever the case. I'm sure Shane, being the head coach, is going to want some of those guys to still be here. But that comes to the rub of what you're saying is the OC. If I'm the head coach of the offense, I kind of want guys I know can teach and develop what I want. Make sense?
Yeah, I think it really depends on who you get and what those other coaches have done. Because I think ultimately, I think you can let the OC kind of like say, like, hey, like, I want to bring like this guy, that guy from my previous school who did really good. And I think if you're Shane, you look at that, you explore that option, but then you kind of have to make the decision, I think, for the OC too, a little bit of like, hey, like Mike Furry's done a really good job. It'd be crazy, I think, if they did not have Mike Furry on staff next year. That's the number one guy who I think you have to, make sure he's here for next year.
I like Furry too, and I think he's done. Look, I think Nick Harbert has developed under Mike Furry.
Dre Jacobs has developed too.
Jacobs has gotten better under Mike Furry. I like what all of a sudden we saw from Jaden Sellers at the end of the year. I love the potential of Donovan Murphy and Brian Rowe. We forget something about Donovan Murphy. Should have been in high school this year.
Should have been.
We forget this stuff. Donovan Murphy should have been at his prom dancing with his girlfriend, right? He shouldn't have been in college playing Power 4 college football in the SEC. So I think Donovan Murphy is someone that we keep an eyeball on for the future of what he can be. We saw flashes of it through the year. And really, that's the thing. What we saw with this offense, Jack, was flashes. Right. There was really, even Nick Harbert, there was no consistency from game to game. It started to happen more later in the year with Nick, especially when Mike Furry took over. It seemed like we saw even more of Nick. But we didn't consistently see Nick through the year. We didn't consistently see any of these offensive skill guys week to week to week be a problem for the opposing defense. And now I'll ask you this. How much of that do you think it was the player? How much do you think it was the coaching with the offensive system?
I think it was probably the system, because there would be games, man, where Dre Jacobs was just nowhere to be found, not even a factor. And you're right about Nick, too, at times, just not getting the ball a ton. I think it's more so a byproduct of the scheme this year. There's a reason that Mike Shula got fired as the offensive coordinator, just did not do a good enough job. And I think that's the problem, is that look at Dowell Loggins, the job that he did. It was up and down, but he was able to get the most out of your players that you wanted to, your star players. Here at South Carolina with Shula, it was so inconsistent to where you just never knew what was going to happen on a game-to-game basis.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was watching it. And again, you and I have never coordinated an offense in the SEC. Fair?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we
Okay,
have.
fair. But it's still watching it was clunky, and just like any stuff, just like pass pattern combinations made no sense, and just you run something that worked in your script, and you never come back to it again. And have I never seen another inside zone read?
I hope we don't see those
Happy
again.
God. All right, we are hanging here at Firehouse Sub, early signing day. We'll get you caught up on what's happening with the Gamecocks and nationally as well. And that's coming up as we are here till noon, sponsored by Firehouse Subs on the game.
Jack, I know you said Duckworth was probably signing tomorrow. I saw he put out a tweet that said his recruitment is shut down.
Yeah, he shut it down. How long ago did he shut it down? But you know what, dude? Until they put the name on the thing, nothing.
Commitment means nothing until
Yeah.
it's paper.
I thought it was so funny though how Jared Curtis was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, how Hayes Fawcett gets his news is from the recruit themselves. So he literally told Hayes Fawcett to make a commitment edit for him. And he put it out. And he only puts it out when they tell him to. So I was like, bro, what?
So, all right. So Walker is going to sign on Thursday. By the way, did you see this whole thing with Zion Ely, Derek? So he dropped his agency, and he is signing I think 1 p.m. today.
Because the thing is, Maryland's trying to hang on for dear life.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the only reason he's going to that's it. Because and he's a local kid. He's a local kid.
So he's signing at 1 o'clock today.
All right, let's get to that too.
We'll mention him and Walker.
Him and Walker coming back. Him and Walker.
So you unmuted it. Okay.
Sound purposes back in the studio.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Hey, you're an idiot.
Well, everybody on the chat knows that. Hey, Ed. Yeah, Ed. Hey, how you doing, man? You all right? Yeah. We tested it, and I told Brad this, and we'll give you a heads up. There's a delay between like the phone and the Comrex, and so when he talks to the coach, there's going to be a delay in there, but there's nothing we can do about it, according to Randy. So, yeah. So just be ready for that.
You should have texted me.
Oh, jeez.
No. When
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's weird. Okay. Keeping you up to date on what's going on early signing day 2025. Our Firehouse Subs early signing day special. Appreciate Larry and the folks at Firehouse. We are here live at Firehouse on Main Street in Columbia. Jack Beltry, Terry Ford, Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell will be with us from Gamecock Central as well between now and noon. Thomas and Jeannie are here. Ed Bird back in the studio as we roll this baby till noon. Terry Ford hanging in for Tyler today on the extra point here on the game. Right now, South Carolina, if you look at the rivals, on 3 rivals, because everybody's together now. Their industry rankings for 2025 right now, South Carolina sitting at 17 in their rankings. Just ahead of Missouri, Ole Miss, who are 18 and 19. Just ahead of South Carolina is Oklahoma sitting at 16. Really quick, this is interesting, then we'll hit a couple of the flip candidates in the latest. Southern Cal, in the industry rankings from on 3 rivals, Southern Cal is 15. ESPN has them number 1. It's very bizarre.
That is very bizarre.
Usually you don't see that kind of, usually it's all like, let's say somebody has 1 at number 3 and somebody else had a number 4 or something, right? But yeah, the ESPN rankings compared to the on 3 industry rankings are a little bit different, especially with Southern Cal. They spent $9 million in this high school. I was reading about this yesterday.
I feel like that's got to be like unheard of for high school.
Well, think about it. I mean, because they front loaded everything right before the rev share and all the stuff kicked in with the house selling.
That's true.
$9 million they spent on this high school recruiting class.
That's crazy.
At Southern Cal, and their GM. You remember Jim Bowden, the former GM in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, sorry.
Jim Bowden's kid is the GM at Southern Cal. He was the GM at Notre Dame, then he left and came to Southern Cal. And I was reading this whole deep dive on it yesterday. $9 million.
How about this? 34 high school events. I mean,
It's insane.
Notre Dame's got 27, Georgia's got 30.
And then look at South Carolina.
Yeah, with 14. No, yeah, 14.
Yeah.
I mean, but teams are different, right?
Yeah, everybody's different.
Some teams are going to lean more into high school. Others, like South Carolina, are going to have a little bit of both.
And really, and you also look year to year, I guess, at roster makeup as well. And you're kind of looking at today and the future, right?
Totally.
And the transfer portal is a thing. Look, I still will always believe that the foundation of a good college football program is high school recruiting. Always will believe it. But in today's world, you have to use the portal. You can't, like anything. You can't be like Dabo and ignore the portal, right? You just can't. But you also can't ignore high school recruiting either. You got to get a healthy mix.
Yes.
If you can lay a foundation of guys that come into your program from high school that you develop in your culture and in your way of how you do things, and then you bring in the right guys from the portal, really, that's a sweet spot. Isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I don't like the approach of leaning just on the portal because hypothetically you can build your roster entirely through the portal. I think we've seen what Deion Sanders did it at Colorado initially when he was there. You've seen guys do a little bit of both. I think that's ultimately the recipe for success.
Yeah, because when you go portal every year, you lean heavily on the portal. Look at Colorado this year. They lean portal heavy again, and they were dumpster fire.
Exactly.
When you're building, it's like anything. If you and I sat here and every year brought in a bunch of people we've never really met before and put them together to do something, 1 year it's going to be great, and 1 year could be a disaster because you're bringing all these people who've never been together before, right? And now you're going to put them together.
Yep.
Some years it's going to mesh perfect. Some years, and they're going to hate each other and want to kill each other. It's just the way this thing works. So to me, if you've got that foundation of your high school recruiting base that you are developing and they know your culture, and then you bring in guys from the portal that can fill your holes, fill your weaknesses, right? That's really the way to do this in a perfect world. And right now, South Carolina's sitting at 17. They've got, again, Darius Gray's a quote-unquote kind of 5-star in some things, high 4-star in others. But there's some flippage going on as well, possibly.
Yeah.
Let's get into what's going on with a couple of the guys that are out there.
We mentioned Julian Walker before in the last segment, the Dutch Ford edge rusher right here in Columbia. Right now, committed to Michigan. But there is a chance that, who knows, maybe he could South Carolina, has been here on so many visits throughout the year. He will not sign until tomorrow. And then another guy to keep an eye on is Zion Healy, who's been connected to South Carolina, committed to Maryland right now. He will officially sign today at 1 p.m. And one interesting note here is that he dropped his. He's no longer associated with any agency for business. So right now, I mean, I don't know what that means necessarily, but I mean, isn't it kind of ironic that happens right before?
Right before. And there's two ways to look at it. One is if you're Maryland, now you're concerned because the people you've been negotiating with no longer are there. Does that mean he might be a late flip? Or does that mean maybe the people are in his ear about flipping and he doesn't want to flip, so he's like, get away from me.
We're going to find out.
Staying committed. We'll find out at 1, right?
3 hours. So.
All right, so we will jump back into that as well. It is our early signing day special, live from Firehouse Subs, Main Street in Columbia, sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are here till noon on the game. All right, you got it live here, Jack. I think it sounds better, Ed, when you're doing it this way. We got someone said on the app, it sounds a lot better now.
That's what I said.
What is going on, guys? As we wrap up the first hour, AAA Heating and Air, they have got your back. They offer up to 12-month payment plans on repairs with no credit check required. That's right. No need to worry about your credit score. As long as you're a homeowner with a valid bank account, you're good to go. Now, here's the other thing. If you're a small business owner, a church, or other entity in need of a new HVAC system, AAA has exciting news for you. AAA now offers financing to qualified organizations to aid them in installing a new light commercial HVAC system. It's as easy as calling AAA Heating and Air today for a quote and finding them online at callAAAtoday.com. Tell them Bob and Sherry sent you. Take control of your comfort today. Call AAA at 803-677-1500 and breathe easy again.
Trying to stave off the migraine. Yeah. Sounds a lot of liquor. I don't know, that might make it worse. I don't have any medicine with me. I just take try to shake it up. I take some ibuprofen always. At some point it gets rolling. I got some ibuprofen in my bag. I carry it with me, bro. That's a good idea. I'm a traveler. I can carry it with me. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You want a couple here? I got it right here, Chris. Oh, greatly appreciate that.
It's like when I woke up, it's always strange if I wake up thinking, I really appreciate it. This is actually
Well,
you just like,
as far as you know.
I'll be like,
Hey, let's not worry about your migraine.
why's Chris been over? Sometimes this morning I woke up.
They can only take so much of us.
Yeah.
And then finally, they just gotta let it loose.
Yeah, exactly.
Any new intel, by the way? Yet?
Not really.
All right, we're here, man.
So
What's up, Terry? Got an interview with Darius Gray at 11:15. Well, I don't have the interview. We will do the
All right,
interview.
cool. All right, just give us the number. We'll get that bird. Fantastic. Early signing day 2025. We are sponsored by Firehouse Subs, our early signing day special. Jack Belcher, Gamecock Central is here. Chris Clark, Gamecock Central is here. Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central will be here soon. Gamecock Central too. Everybody else here is Gamecock Central. Terry Ford would never be hired by Gamecock Central, but I'm just hanging out
yeah, I
here.
think Shu would bring you aboard. We need some veteran leadership.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Absolutely. Tyler's out today. He'll be back tomorrow. We have tried to keep you up to date on what's going on. By the way, we've discussed a lot of Darius Gray, the top-ranked recruit in South Carolina's class. Chris just told me that Chris and Wes will have Darius Gray on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour at 11:15 today to talk about
Big news.
his signing with South Carolina. I want to go back to the flip candidates. We've talked about Baker, obviously the running back that decommitted from Florida because of obviously Sunbelt Billy no longer the head coach of the Gators. So we'll keep an eye on that. And with Julian Walker pushing back he was going to sign today. And Walker's pushed it back 24 hours to tomorrow is the latest. Again, does that mean South Carolina's now got a foot in the door?
I think it's just more time to just kind of
He's
think
got
about.
to figure it out.
Think about it. This is a huge decision. Like it's not just about money. It's also like you're deciding what you're doing for the next 3 to 4 years of your life.
And do you want to play it close to home? Your Dutch Fork
Or
High
do you
School.
go to the freezing cold in Ann
Or-
Arbor?
We were kidding about this, Wes and I had one last week. It's like, if I'm South Carolina, I'm selling weather. I'm like,
I don't know. It's pretty cold out today.
but you know what? This is today. This is nice in Ann Arbor.
Let's see what the weather
They
is.
go Ann Arbor weather today.
Let's see.
Because here in South Carolina, we're in the 40s right now.
I will
correct?
bet. Yeah, and also snowing at the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
So right now, okay, in South Carolina, 43 degrees,
it
a
is.
little breezy, 44 degrees here in Columbia.
It is 22 degrees. 22 degrees in Ann Arbor. The feels like it's 6 degrees. Hey,
Okay,
look.
so right now, if you're Shane Bieber, aren't you sending screenshots of this to Julian Walker saying, hey, man, where would you want to be today? And it feels
Yeah.
like 41 in Columbia. It feels like 6 in Ann Arbor,
I
Michigan.
wonder if he's a snow guy. You know, I mean,
Now, his
Yeah,
family moved around a bit, right?
uh,
I think is what I heard. He wasn't like, I don't think he was born in South Carolina. I could be wrong. You double check that. You're the expert on this one.
yeah, me.
So double check that. But yeah, man, ready? Would you like to be walking around on campus in Ann Arbor, Michigan right now at 6 degrees, or would you like to be here where it's a balmy 40?
I think I'd rather be here.
Well, you're in shorts. You're a maniac.
I know.
You're a maniac.
Yeah.
I love my shorts. Don't get me wrong.
Here's the
But,
thing.
man.
It's like you're going outside in the cold for 5 minutes and then coming inside. It was warm when we got in here at the firehouse.
I mean, oh, it was nice and toasty in here, man.
It was. So.
Absolutely. I mean, outside's a little different, but in here, much better. Much better in here. You wear shorts, what, 300 days out of the year?
I remember earlier this year when we had the big snow day.
Uh-huh.
I walked over to, because I didn't drive my car because it was like so icy on the road. I wore shorts walking over to the station. I'm like, oh.
I remember that. I was like, what the hell are you doing in shorts?
I had
bro?
like a sweatshirt, a winter coat, and a beanie on. And that's like, why the hell is this guy wearing shorts? What an idiot.
Now, let me ask you, be truthful. As you walked outside that first few minutes, did you say, what am I doing?
No, not really, because it's like you're
But
walking.
you still had the warmth from the
Yeah, I had the warmth from everything else. It's just like, wear shorts. I mean, why not? Be a trendsetter.
That's what I was thinking.
The real thing would have been to wear flip-flops with.
Oh, yeah, or slides or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or your Crocs. I do not own Crocs. Look, people, look, my kids own Crocs and all that, and I get it. I just can't put my foot in Crocs. There's something
I
about it.
can't
I just
either.
can't do it, man.
So,
Can't do it. If you want to do it, I love you. Go get them. I just can't do it.
yeah, no,
I
exactly.
can't. It took me a while to get to the slides. I do the slides.
Slides were like a middle school, high school thing, but yeah, now it's
You know, but you know what? Once I've been a flip-flop guy my whole life.
yeah,
So when you go to slides, are a little weird to get used to after you've had the slides.
they are.
Weird, but I will not do Crocs.
They're not.
I have a buddy of mine who is around my age, which is 105, and he wears Crocs. I'm like, Kevin, what are we doing?
Well,
You're wearing you're comfortable. I go, you're dead to me. You're no longer my friend.
They're not comfortable, especially in the summer when like your feet get all sweaty and it's like.
It's like the guys that wear socks in their shoes. I mean, shoes and no socks. The shoes and no socks. I did that like once or twice in my life, and your feet get all sweaty and it's
Disgusting.
not good. All right, now that we've gotten through that deep topic, let's get to some early signing day.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, right now in South Carolina, just update Jack, who has signed your letter of
Yeah.
intent
So
officially.
you've got,
Besides Darius Gray, who we have talked
as
about.
I am pulling it up here, we know Darius Gray. We know you got Keenan Britt, who is also signed, Caden Ramsey, Anthony Baxter, Noah Clark.
Noah
So
Clark's a 4-star, correct?
yes,
Defensive line.
4-star. So it is the same as the first hour when we began the show. 5 guys have signed so far. We'll get a few more throughout the day. Landon Duckworth should be signing today. We'll see who else. Did we get? Did we get anything on like guys like Sequel Patterson and Xavier Kearns?
Not yet. I have not seen anything yet. We'll double check.
Yeah, and again, it's a 3-day
It's a
window.
3-day window.
So guys have the rest of the week to kind of make a decision.
And the one you brought up, the only look, this stuff is always fluid, so no one's going to give you concrete anything until again you've signed the letter of intent or whatever they call it today.
Yes.
All right, so Landon Duckworth, you said this also. I think Chris wrote about it on Gamecock Central as well. Lane Kiffin and LSU are trying to make a late run at Landon Duckworth. Duckworth shut down his recruitment a few weeks ago. Solid into the camp of South Carolina. Chad Simmons from On3. Landon Duckworth told Chad Simmons that he is signing with South Carolina. Nothing stuns me, right, in this thing, but it feels like Duckworth will sign in this 3-day window with the Gamecocks. Possibly today, later on, we'll find out. But that's the only one that, you're probably sitting on if you're shaking the staff right now. You're sitting on all of them, but especially Duckworth.
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. Duckworth seems, again, told Simmons that he signed in South Carolina. But, hey, you never know. You never know. It could be money that gets thrown at him or just something.
I mean, LSU's printing their own money, obviously. They're paying off coaches millions. They're giving new coaches millions. They're promising all sorts of millions for extra for a football team. I mean, so maybe LSU's going to give him money with Lane Kiffin's face on it.
Maybe Lane will give him juice.
There you go. Or you know what? They can do yoga. They can do hot yoga.
Yeah, they can do hot yoga together. Stay in shade.
Yeah. Do some prayer.
Shane, if you're listening, maybe
Get some yoga, buddy.
Yeah, hey,
It's time. Get your tail in there at hot yoga. Get that Beckram hot yoga, man. Anyway, so that's the only one. And that's not like we want to make it clear. It's not like, oh my God, it's a concern. But there is some late push from Lane Kiffin at LSU to try to talk to Landon Duckworth.
But hey, that'd be
It still feels like Landon Duckworth will sign with
that'd be a heck of an accomplishment for
Yeah,
LSU.
absolutely. All right, so also monitoring what's going on with a few other guys, possible flippage. We talked about that. South Carolina right now, top 20 class. Again, things are always fluid. If you look at the industry rankings, Texas right now is sitting in the On3 industry rankings with the top class at this moment. But the SEC has 15 of the top 30, man. It's insane.
It's great.
It's insane. Texas, Georgia, Bama right now are sitting at the top 3 in the On3 industry rankings. All SEC. Oregon is number 4, Ohio State 5, Michigan at 6. The one thing I'll say about Sharon Moore, I don't know what kind of head coach he is because it's too early in the game. Dude and that staff can flat out recruit.
Oh yeah.
That's the one thing. And it feels like they've got the they've got the suitcase filled with persuasion to help them out. See what it feels like, right? They flipped Underwood. How much money did they give Bryce Underwood last year? Remember?
What was
To
it?
get him up from LSU.
It was like a multi-year deal, right?
Sickening the money they gave
Million,
Underwood.
right?
So Michigan's at 6, A&M is sitting at 7, Auburn 8, LSU 9, Florida 10. Here's what's interesting in these rankings. Number 8, 9, and 10, Auburn, LSU, and Florida, all three have new head coaches. So you're trying to save top 10 classes right now.
Yeah.
Those three coaches.
Meanwhile, one other thing I wanted to bring up, and just thought it was so interesting. You have to go all the way back into these rankings for Penn State. Penn State is ranked. I'm trying to even find where they're at. Have you seen this? Where Penn State's ranked 128th in the recruiting rankings. Don't even have a head coach. What's going on with Penn State, man?
Here's the interesting part
Don't
of
even
Penn
have a
State.
head coach right now.
Well, let's rewind for a minute. Let's go over this together since, with Penn State. Okay, you went to the college football playoff semifinals last year. Again, you didn't beat any ranked teams. You had a really nice bracket that was
But you
very
got
favorable. But you got to the Final Four. The Final Four of college football, and you were what? A turnover away from possibly playing for the championship.
Yep.
You were that close. You have had a perennial top 15 football program under James Franklin. Look, we all joke about big game James. You can't beat a top 10 team to save his life. We get it. But you were in the college football Final Four last year.
It's crazy.
You lose the game to Oregon at home in overtime. A game you could have won, even though you played like hot garbage for 3.5 quarters. You go to overtime again. Aller throws the pick. At the end, you lose. That's your first loss of the year. Then you crater. Then you fire your head coach. Who, by the way, who was the head coach you got to the Final Four the year before? Same guy, right? So you fire that guy 6 games in. And if you fire him, Jack, let's go by this idea here. If you fire him and you're crafty AD at Penn State, you're telling me the next guy is going to get you where James Franklin couldn't, right? Isn't that what you're telling
You have
everybody?
to hire like Nick Saban or someone of that caliber. That's like someone that can win a championship.
Right, you're looking for a big dog that's going to get you over the top. You're spending gobs of money at Penn State. You're redoing the whole stadium and football facilities, and you paid a ton of money to keep the football team together. I mean, you ain't playing, right? I mean, you're spending some serious cake at State College. You got to walk a guy up to that podium that you hire that's going to get you over the top. The only thing I've heard, and I don't think this is a thing now because Alabama's going to be in the college football playoff, there was smoke going on for a couple of weeks that if Bama doesn't make the college football playoff, Kalen DeBoer would leave and go to Penn State possibly.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've heard. Look,
BYU guy.
I love Kalani Sitake to a point. I think he's done a nice job. Look, people forget something. BYU was really good before Sitake took it over under Bronco Mendenhall. They were, I think it was an 8 or 9 win team when Sitake took it. I think it was 9-4 team when Sitake took it over. And they've had some really good seasons under Kalani, and they've had a couple of losing seasons. When I see Sitake, are you hoping that's your Mike Elko? You know, the guy that, you mean, because Sitake has a kind of Elko vibe to him. But Sitake's won nothing. It's not like Sitake has won a ton of championships at BYU.
BYU's always been pretty good.
They're good, but they're not like right now. They're on the cusp of the college football playoff, but they're not in. Sitake's never won the Big 12, never won the Mountain West. And this was going to be the guy you were going to prop up and say, this is the guy who's going to be better than James Franklin. Maybe he would be, maybe he wouldn't, but that's my thought is, okay.
Kind of like a lesser version of Franklin.
Yeah.
Think about it.
He's a good coach, but he didn't build that program. He didn't take BYU to phenomenal heights. Bronco Mendenhall had double-digit wins 4 of his first 5 years, I think, if I remember, at BYU.
Yeah.
So my point is, to your question, what the hell is Penn State doing?
Meanwhile, Virginia Tech and James Franklin have a top 30 class right now.
And look, I'll say this. Look,
A lot of
I have had fun with James Franklin's woes against top 10 teams as much as anybody. But James Franklin's going to crush it at Virginia Tech.
He's going to do so good there.
The ACC is easy walk, especially with Clemson in this weird moment they're in. The ACC is there for the taking. Franklin is going to recruit. And by the way, he's got a chip on his shoulder now. He is going. That guy's not going to sleep for 3 years.
Nope.
His
He
goal.
doesn't have hobbies.
Yeah, he's got nothing. His goal is to take Virginia Tech back to what they used to be with Frank Beamer. Is he going to do that? I don't know, but he's going to win. He's going to kill it at Virginia Tech.
He's going to do a great job.
He really is. And while he's doing that, who's the head coach at Penn State?
Nobody. Maybe Pat Kraft will be the head coach. I mean,
It's insane.
It's wild.
This thing again. When you start making decisions based on the noise,
Impulse.
that's what happens. Make decisions with your head, Jack Veltri. That's what you got to do. Our early signing day special, sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are live at Firehouse Main Street in Columbia. We'll come back, get you caught up what's going on early signing day. That is next here on the Extra Point on the Game.
I know. It's so hard. So hard to remember.
He used to say in the post-game show. I said, you used to say in the post-game show.
Time show,
Yeah.
track shows.
There's so many. That's I told my friends, I don't know how Tyler does it. He's on air from 9 to 3 like every day.
He's got to remember all that stuff, man. It's crazy.
I saw posted apparently Brian Hartline's going to South Florida to be the head coach.
You see it? He's going to get a gig.
Because that's what everybody,
Going to get a gig.
y'all talking about Penn State. That's who people want Penn State guy.
Jack Ryan. And even the offensive dude, he's got great stuff about the system. I mean, he's going on his wide receivers. This year, the OC, we're playing game his first year as the OC. I mean, Ohio State's doing the same. Getting better and better through the year.
Give him that.
You can't have as much experience as you do.
Yeah.
You can't do it. I mean, this is what you put yourself in a bad
Yeah. I have a cousin that goes to Penn State too. Like she was at the Oregon game because it was a whiteout. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I worked in PA for 7 years back in the day. That's a cult of freaks.
Yeah.
Penn State's
We,
a cult of
my freshman year, I took sports media and society, and we talked about the Paterno, like all that like controversy that happened with the assistant coach then. And he said that like whenever they fired Paterno, that like they were like protesting in the streets about it, like bring him back. They're like we don't care, like just bring him back.
I was doing national radio. And the thing that got me was basically the people that ran Penn State. When it turned, I looked at Jerry Santos and said, "Can you do that off campus?
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. Just do it off campus and don't get caught.
Yeah.
Because nothing's more important
They're
than
winning
football.
football.
For these kids whose lives are destroyed.
Yeah.
Just don't screw up the football. Because, okay, I've never been a huge fan of Penn State. When I lived there, it was just a creepy cult.
Yeah.
But once I that whole thing with Santos was just too much.
Yeah. State
I
college.
never want to see you guys ever win ever.
That's what, like,
It's just
because even, like, it's kind of the same thing I feel like with Beamer. It's like, and you saw how Penn State, like, if you get rid of him, like, all the commits will just be gone. Like, they'll just be, like, they all flip to 10. They all fall to 10.
I hope they don't win.
Penn State?
Yes.
I hope Tech can win the ACC.
Oh, I love that. You know what? I've become a James Franklin.
Yeah.
Go get him, James.
He mentioned Frank in the press. He was out to take.
Yeah, well, there's two more. Gillies and Kosi Barnes.
Okay, let's do it.
Kasi.
Gotta say it right.
God, I know. I had to go ask.
Pronunciation.
I don't want to mess that up.
Keeping you up to date on what's happening early signing day 2025. We have Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central, Chris Clark, Gamecock Central. Wes Mitchell will be here later, Gamecock Central. Terry Ford, Ed Bird back in the studio. Thomas is here making sure we stay on the air from Firehouse. So we will be here till noon with our early signing day special. Extra point right now. Terry hanging in for Tyler, who's got the day off. All right, so we have a couple of signings that have made it official for South Carolina, Jack Belcher. Break the news as you are. We'll pretend. Let's go live to Jack Belcher
Yeah.
at the Spurrier Complex.
Yeah, Gamecock Central posted it on Twitter. So we have got Zion Gillies, the #1 interior offensive lineman in the Rivals 300. So he is officially signed with South Carolina. And then Posse Barnes signed with South Carolina as well, 4-star cornerback. So, and as Gamecock Central, a late riser in the rankings. So that it should put them now halfway there to getting their signing class.
Almost there, man. Because and you know when you look at Gillies and we talk about Darius Gray as well, 2 interior offensive linemen, looked at as among the best in America. Look, we have sat here. It's been Groundhog Day. Let's play I Got You, Babe from Sonny and Cher. I mean, we have talked about this offensive line until all of us, our eyeballs roll. We get that green, the green emoji guy throwing up. We were all just no. Look, I'm sure they're tired of dealing with their offensive line issues across the street here. We're tired of talking about it. Fans are tired of watching it. At the end of the day, you've got pieces here. You've got guys who came out of high school talented. Now, maybe they're talented because they're bigger than everybody. Maybe they were talented for whatever the reason they got their star rankings, right? You've got enough of these folks accumulated here that if you get the right teaching and the right development, you can put together an offensive line. And look, I don't know what's going to happen this offseason. I mean, Trey Barberlotti disappeared. I don't know what happened in the last couple of games. Once Mike Furry took over, we saw no Trey Barberlotti. He got pop out the tackle, right? I don't know what's going to happen with Trey. Trevon Ball had some good moments and some not so good moments at guard. You're going to need a center. You got the 2 interior offensive linemen coming in, the freshmen. Josiah Thompson, again, he regressed, Jack. I mean, regressed badly this year, both in pass blocking and run blocking. What's Josiah Thompson going to do in this offseason? You know, so, but there are pieces here to have yourself a good offensive line. You just have to develop it, get the techniques right. But you have talented players who in high school had some type of pedigree.
That's the thing about this is that, and I think that's ultimately why Lonnie Teasley is no longer here. It's just the recruiting is fine. That's not the issue. It literally is just why can't this translate over to the field consistently, right? You can get. I think that also goes to show why stars don't win everything. Like it's great you have 5 stars across the board, but if your development is not good, you're going to have a mediocre offensive line.
It doesn't matter. Every now and then you find a guy who's just a freak, right? And you can't screw him up if you tried. Right? I mean, you can bring in a guy and he's such a dominant physical presence, or his technique already is so good already before he showed up that there's just not a whole lot you're going to do one way or the other. He's good. He's good. He has been anointed by the gods, right? You have that guy every now and then. But most of the time, this does depend on the D word, man. Development. Doesn't matter when they come in, what kind of rankings they have, what kind of this or that. You have to make them into the player that they're going to be. And that's been the issue here. The best offensive lineman they've had in my time here has been Torricelli Simpkins. Through the portal. He was through the portal.
I agree.
He was already developed when he got here, right? So that wasn't a development thing by South Carolina. Torricelli Simpkins was, for the most part, good to go.
He just brought something to get in.
Right. And another thing with this whole and look, this isn't the end all. But you want a couple guys on your offensive line a little bit of nasty. And Torricelli had a little bit of the nasty in him.
He did.
Remember the Clemson game with the personal fouls
Yeah,
last
he
year?
had 2 personal fouls.
And-
It felt like it almost cost them,
I
honestly.
know, because it's always like that borderline of, you want a guy who plays right to the edge of the whistle, right? He's right there on that borderline. But the first one he got, I was almost like, you know what? That ain't bad because now you're letting Clemson know, hey, we're here, man. We ain't messing around. It's gonna be a long day. You're gonna give me, I'm gonna get you. But you know what? It's gonna be a long day for both of us. You ready? Strap it on, dude. Here we go. But you don't want to get personal foul penalties, sportsmanlike stuff that can create a football game. But you do need some guys a little edge. And I felt like the one time I saw it this year was in the Vanderbilt game before Lenoir got home. It was the first 2 drives. Remember, the first drive was a touchdown. The second drive, Lenoir threw the pick in the red zone. I remember Ball and Casey Henry are driving guys like 10 yards downfield. They're high-fiving each other. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you want. But you really didn't see that much.
Kind of disappeared after that. The momentum of that game kind of went away once
Sellers got hurt.
after the pick, yeah.
And the pick was deflating enough.
But it's like once he got hurt.
And once he got hurt, it was game over. Not to be mean to Luke Doty, it was just game over. But and that goes back to the what ifs that when you're 4-8 and you've been close, you didn't get blown out. You were close in all these games. The Vanderbilt game, I will always say this: if you just look at the score, you go, "Oh, South Carolina get their butt kicked." No, once Lenoir Sellers got knocked out, it was a totally different football game. That entire football team deflated. They just did. But we forget, South Carolina had the lead, and then they were going down for a second touchdown when Lenoir throws the interception, and then Lenoir, a series or 2 later, gets knocked out, and everything changed. But in that game, that was the most aggressive I saw the offensive line all year. In those 2 series.
Yeah, I agree.
They were going after it, man. I'm sitting on the press box going, look at these dudes.
It was nice.
This is good.
It was a nice change of pace from what you had been seeing.
Exactly. They had a little Torricelli Simpkins in them.
Yes, that little dog.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So but the good news is both interior offensive linemen, highly thought of coming out of high school, have both signed. They're done. They're in.
Yes. So 7 guys now have signed. So we'll see how that number progresses. I wonder what it gets to before the end of the show, honestly.
We shall see. And also, we're sitting around looking at what's going on in the Julian Walker situation. Has now pushed his signing date to tomorrow. We'll see. Michigan's trying to hold on to Walker. South Carolina's making a hard late push. And this is good news if you're a Gamecock fan, because obviously he's thinking. Because if he's not thinking, he's signing today, right?
The longer this drags out, the better it is for South Carolina.
Absolutely. And this is very interesting, and we brought it up earlier just to reset in case you missed it. Right now, the biggest flip of the day nationally, Jared Curtis, the top-ranked quarterback in the 2025 class, who had been – South Carolina was chasing him before he verbaled the Georgia.
Yeah. It was like them, Oregon, Georgia. It was Oregon and Georgia
At the end.
and then he's a hometown kid though in Nashville.
Yeah,
so.
and that was one of the pulls that Curtis talked about. Curtis flips. Okay, and we're sober. We swear we're sober when we say this. Jared Curtis flipped from Georgia, bleeping Georgia, to Vanderbilt.
Only in 2025. we're in bizarro world right now.
Absolutely. And again, he's a Nashville kid, and so he has close up watched what's going on at Vandy this year. He's watched the Diego Pavia experience. He's seen what Tim Beck, his offensive coordinator, and Jerry Kill, his offensive assistant head coach, have done with that offense. And basically, Vandy's selling, you could be the heir apparent to Diego Pavia.
It just means they're going to be good for years to come.
And here's the thing, too. I'm sure, last time I checked Vandy, there's a lot of really, really rich folks who went to Vandy.
I would imagine so.
And maybe all of a sudden, those rich folks like what they see and say, you know what? Never thought much about athletics before. You guys want some money? Just saying. All right, our early signing day special sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Again, we always thank Larry and the folks at Firehouse for being so good to us. We are live at Firehouse, Main Street in Columbia. We'll come back in here and get you up to date on what's going on. Early signing day for Carolina and the country next on the Extra Point. Terry Ford, Jack Beltry, Chris, Thomas, Jeannie, Ed. Till noon on the game.
What subs do you guys want? What sub do you want? Like, do you
Let me see.
want to write these all down?
Hey, I'll
Or, okay, one second. I got
see if we can get some fries.
Oh, I will.
I was down the brisket or steamer.
You know, every time we get to see
You know, hey, Jack. Jack. Switch to the steamer. Switch to the steamer. Sorry.
Okay.
To the steamer.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You like reading?
Everything else is I always go myself every workout. And so,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully you bring my Thank you.
That's like a weird Thanksgiving. Dude, I actually like it. Sausage, like some sausage and sauerkraut.
I can't do it. The smell of it kills me.
Craft and Draft, they've got a, and everybody go there all the time, and they have a platter that has like 3 different kinds of sausage, pretzel, cheese, mustard,
That's
pickles,
good.
and
I
sauerkraut.
can't do it, but everything else on that sounds good.
Everybody I know that gets it, they're like, no sauerkraut. Give it to me. I'll take it.
All right. Hey, Ed,
You hopping in?
we're going to test
Oh, I
Chris
got
real
one.
quick. Chris is putting on the headset.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Did I pass?
Flying
colors.
Okay,
Well, can you at least hear me?
There we go. Yeah, we got, okay, let's see.
Chris is up close and
Hey,
personal
Thomas.
with the camera.
Oh, am I like way down
Let's-
there?
Let's take the camera
Yeah.
back a little bit,
Just get it off me.
bring it back, and then turn it a little bit this way. Oh, no, go, sorry.
Like that one,
Go a little bit. All right, that's fine.
right there.
We'll
Yeah,
get-
back more or right here, good.
We'll just get the back of Chris.
A teeny bit more than this. Now, I do want to just go.
Maybe move the chair over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get the back of Sensei's head in the shot. Sit there, but you're good, and still get Jack.
Turn.
And turn the,
Turn.
that,
Right,
where
down.
Jack, you got
Right
it
there?
down a little bit.
Yeah,
Now there you go.
We're good. We're good. You should.
Because Chris is in witness relocation.
Be good.
All right,
I
we're
don't
gonna
even know what you're saying about me. I can't hear.
Can you hear us? You can't hear, can you hear us at all?
Can't hear me?
Not really. Just like,
Interesting.
I'll just do this. Now
Which one are you on?
I can hear you now. I'll just
Oh, can you hear
I
us?
can hear you.
take an ear off.
All right, good.
That's what counts.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's what
Thank
counts.
God. All right, it's gotten serious. It's gotten serious here for our early signing day special, sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are live at Firehouse on Main Street, Columbia. It's serious because Jack Belcher broke out the pen and the paper and said, "Okay, what sub do you want?"
Let's get down
Chris
to
Clark
business.
is with us.
Best words of the day.
Thomas is here, making sure we stay on the air. He's working the cameras. Ed Bird back in the studio. Chris Clark, Gamecock Central, also jumping in now. Besides the most important thing, which is which sub we're going to get. And by the way, so and then Chris and I are, we got strategy because Chris is like, yeah, man. When I first started with the smokehouse, so Chris is like, yeah, that steamer. You're right, man.
The steamer is good. I put both on there. So
Okay,
we have a few of each.
Good. That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Because what Chris and I do, just because we have wonderful manners, is we try to sample them all. We don't want to be rude.
Exactly.
That's what we do, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Clark. First of all, Darius Gray, 11:15 today on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. That's very cool, sir.
Yeah, I can't wait. Darius, and did it on short notice too. That's a me problem. But I chatted with him earlier and said, "Hey man, do you want to jump on with us?" And he's going to. So really looking forward to chatting with him. I got a chance. I went up and covered his announcement ceremony in Richmond earlier this year, and so I got to have more of a face-to-face. I've talked to him before, obviously, but like a more in-depth face-to-face conversation with him. Met his parents, met a bunch of people who knew him at the school, and man, he's just exactly what you want, right? Because he's, not only is he a really good player, he's a 5-star. He's ranked as, by some services, the #1 interior offensive lineman in the country. Obviously, a huge position to be for South Carolina. Obviously, a position where they've had coaching turnover. This guy had offers from everybody, and never really wavered. Certainly some other schools tried along the way when South Carolina made a change. Lonnie Teasley, the offensive line coach, who he had gotten close to. You would think, hey, this is a window for some other schools, and it was, frankly, but never really wavered, from that commitment. Came down to the wire initially, but the Gamecocks got themselves in a really good position for him. It's a guy that, his high school coach told me, hey, if Darius decided I want to go play defensive tackle at the Power 4 SEC level, he's like, he can do it. That's how good he is on either side of the ball. But I think from a player standpoint, he's an offensive lineman all the way for South Carolina. That's what Darius wants to do. And guys, I think he's good enough to play like literally any position on the offensive line. If 3 years from now we're saying Darius Gray is the left tackle, and Darius Gray is the center, he's right guard, I'm not going to be surprised with any of those things. He's got a ton of upside. And he's exactly what you want because he's a really, really good kid, too. I mean, he's got leadership skills. That's something that we've talked about a lot this offseason, right? And during the season, is how can you get better from a leadership standpoint? I think from last season to this season, there's a pretty clear gap there. How much will Darius Gray play as a freshman? We'll see. But I'd be very surprised if 3 or 4 years from now, if this is not like one of South Carolina's team captains. I think he's that kind of guy.
Let me ask you again. Look, very rarely do you have a high school offensive lineman whose technique is so good that he's just ready-made to go out there and crush it. It's very rare, especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
But technique-wise, for a high school interior offensive lineman, what do you hear about Darius Gray?
Just his readiness. Well, some guys, if you look at him and maybe they're an offensive tackle coming out, and that hey, they're going to have to put a lot of weight on their frame. Obviously, when you go from high school senior to SEC Power 4 freshman, or when you project out, what a freshman is going to look like versus what they're going to look like their junior or senior year, there's going to be a progression there in terms of maybe weight, body composition, but certainly strength. That's the biggest one when you're turning from a high school senior who's a big kid into a grown man where you're 20, 21 years old, you're a senior, and you've been playing for a while. So I think that'll be his biggest thing, like anybody else. But he's already got the size. He can move. Sometimes you see offensive linemen come out and you're like, yeah, he's big, but is he dominating this competition? Does it translate to the next level? With Darius, yes, he has the size, but he can also really move. And then technically, every offensive lineman coming in is going to need technical refinement. But, I've seen him in camp. He got his very first offer from South Carolina after a summer camp 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. And even then, you could tell technically, I think he's advanced. He's not finished product, but I think he's advanced. But you're right. I mean, it is tough. Like the closer, some coaches say that the closer you play to the football in a literal sense, the harder it is to play early. You know, it's hard to come in and play snaps as a true freshman defensive tackle. It's hard to come in and play snaps as a true freshman offensive guard. We've seen it done, and I think he's good enough to be able to do it. You know, one other thing is because of the school he goes to, he's not enrolling early. He's one of the few guys nowadays. So many guys enroll early in January. He's going to enroll in the summer, so that will put him behind from that standpoint and not being able to go through winter workouts, spring ball. But Carolina had some guys they've had some guys the last few years that got here in the summer and were still able to contribute. I think he's made it the right stuff to be able to do that. I expect him to, again, I don't know how much he'll play next year, but I expect him to be in the mix. And I think in a long-term sense, he's got just really good.
Zion Gillies also has signed, and he might not be as highly touted as Gray, but he's still looked at as one of the best interior offensive linemen in the country. Give us a little Gillies.
Zion Giles.
Giles. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Go ahead,
No
Zion
problem.
Giles.
Zion Giles, I mean, man, this is another one. Another early commitment. Another guy who never wavered. I remember, I heard about his dad and saw him in camp last year before he might have had a few offers, but he didn't have a bunch of offers. He wasn't the high 4-star, top 5 interior offensive line prospect in the country that he is. And you see him, and you're like, whoa, he's another really big kid who's got a really good combination of size to athleticism, ratio. He can really move, and he's another one I looked at. I'm going, I kind of like him at tackle at the next level, but I certainly think he can play guard. Another really good kid. Grew up in a football family. Dad's been involved in coaching, so just loves football, and it's not about all the other stuff, that comes through the recruiting process because he never wavered. He didn't take 100 visits. That's fine if they do that. Darius Gray took a whole bunch of visits. Sure. Is a great kid. But Zion Giles, just all about football and man, really another one I think he's going to need technical refinement. Bigger, strong, maybe not bigger, but stronger, but really, really versatile, really athletic, I think.
All right, Jack and I have been talking about Landon Duckworth. He may be the one guy in this class that you got to keep an eyeball on. That yoga-loving weirdo in Baton Rouge might be chasing him around a little bit. Give us your thoughts on Duckworth.
Yeah, I mean, things sound pretty good with Duck. I mean, I saw the stuff that came out LSU related last night. Obviously, when Lane Kiffin was told this, they recruited Duckworth too. Duckworth saying that he's signing with South Carolina. We haven't seen that through as of yet that I've seen. So yeah, always something to keep an eye on. But he's saying all the right things, and apparently behind the scenes all the right things too. But it's another high upside kid, a true dual threat. He's got athleticism. He's got arm. He's put up some big numbers in situations in high school. And a guy that Carolina really identified, of course, former commitment, decommitted, opened things back up, recommitted to South Carolina, and they've had to hold on at various points. But I think a high upside player who's a true threat.
All right, give us the latest, any smoke on Walker? What's going on? I know you have his house bugged. What you got going on?
Yeah, haven't gone that far this time.
This time.
Yeah, I mean, Julian Walker from Dutch Fort, Michigan commitment. Dad's on staff. Jameel Walker in South Carolina, and signing tomorrow, which is interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of timing, I think, frankly, guys, we heard that a little bit percolating yesterday, and he's publicly said today he'll sign on Thursday, so tomorrow. A guy that I think has just been, frankly, it's legitimately a tough decision to flip to South Carolina, to stick to Michigan. He was in Ann Arbor this past weekend. Been some good indications at points for South Carolina, but certainly not done. They're both battling, jockeying for position down the stretch. I think he's just taking some extra time to talk it over with the family, to try to get it nailed down tomorrow. So we'll keep tracking it and see. But South Carolina's got a chance to pull it off.
Anybody else that we're looking at besides the kid Baker, Florida?
Baker to Florida. Yeah, Baker, Florida, UNC. I actually just got a text, guys, that I was just talking about Landon Duckworth. Apparently, there is now some Landon Duckworth at LSU smoke, so we'll double back to that later.
Okay.
So yeah, always got to keep an eye on it. PJ Dean was one that South Carolina was looking to flip from Georgia. He stuck with Georgia, signed with them this morning. Carson Baker, South Carolina, UNC, Florida. Kind of all three of those jockeying for position at Hillside tomorrow somewhere too.
All right, we'll get you updated on everything that's going on. Early signing day 2025, sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are at Firehouse Sub location, Main Street in Columbia. Hanging out. We'll be here till noon. Jack's here, Chris, Thomas, Ed Bird back in studio. I'm Terry Ford here for Tyler. Extra point. No, we didn't.
And, let me call Wesley.
Let's do it. You guys have been here, y'all talk about that hot yoga.
Yeah.
The stuff about Juice not really being his song is so funny. They said like he just lived with her and act was his song. There's so much.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. That's a lot like a large.
It's crazy. Dark horse come up.
Yeah, I'm back in.
No, hold on. Let me see.
We gotta get a little chaos right now. Need a little chaos, right?
What's up?
Need a little chaos, right?
It's crazy. That hot yoga shit, man. It's crazy. Let's talk about that because we have to hear what it's for. I think they got to go get somebody else in this world.
All right, things have gotten interesting. Early signing day 2025. Terry Ford in for Tyler, Jack Beltry, Gamecock Central, Chris Clark, Gamecock Central. Thomas is here, not affiliated with Gamecock Central yet. Ed Bird back in studio as we get you updated on what's going on. Early signing day 2025 for South Carolina. Jack, everything's going smooth.
Yeah.
All right, seven recruits have signed their letter of intent, including, well, Darius Gray, the top-ranked recruit in the class. Zion Giles. Zion Giles, also very highly thought of nationally. I mean, right here, if you look at the on-3 composite on Zion Giles, 103rd nationally, number 5 in his position. So highly thought, just a tick below Gray, but very highly thought of. Giles has signed his letter of intent as well. But now we have got some drama.
It seems, Chris mentioned it briefly, if there's some LSU smoke and Duckwood. Seems like he could be flipping to Baton Rouge.
Lane's trying. Again, maybe Duckwood likes hot.
I don't know. That'd be very impressive, though, for Lane to flip
To
it.
jump in and pull like
Like
that.
crazy.
Hey, look, let's just go to what hopefully South Carolina holds on to the commitment. Duckworth signs with the Gamecocks. Let's take a look at this quarterback situation in general. All right, Lenore Sellers. If you ask me what I think, would I love to see Lenore Sellers come back? Sure, who would, right? Your new OC, you build that offense more to what, Lenore Sellers' skill set, and you try not to make him what he's not, right? I mean, you try to improve the things he needs to improve, but really you build an offense around what he can do, right? Would that be great to see next year? Absolutely. But if you ask me what I think, I still believe that Lenore Sellers, because of his skill set and his traits, he's going to go to the combine. He's going to have a good underwear Olympics if he goes. He's going to be good on the whiteboard. He's going to be good in the interviews. I still think somewhere between 20 and 32, someone would take him in the first
Because
round.
of his potential.
Yes.
Throw the stats away. The guy has got high upside.
Because here's what, and again, last time I checked, there's 32 teams in the NFL, right?
Somebody needs a quarterback.
It only takes one, Jack. That's the old saying, right?
Yes.
So it only takes one. And there's going to be a team that's going to look at what happened in South Carolina this year and go, you know what? It was a system of offense and the offensive line more than the quarterback, right? And that will be a team that will take Lenore Sellers in the first round on his upside and potential and his traits that could develop into an NFL franchise quarterback. So let's just say Lenore's decide he could say, no, but I want to come back and improve my draft stock and play with my brother and get my NIL money. He could do that, sure he could. No one's saying he could. But if you're asking me what I think I'm still going down the road he'll go to the NFL. That's just me.
I continue to go back and forth on it. I feel like he was going to come back, and then you hear kind of the way he is smiling and kind of laughing at the question of, are you going to be staying next year? I don't know which way he's going to go. I will say this, though, either way, I still feel like South Carolina needs to go to the portal, get a quarterback, for the sole reason of competition. Number one, we know Shane preaches that. But I do think with the new OC, maybe you bring a quarterback with that OC. Maybe it's the guy from Old Dominion.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, look, because it becomes even more compelling if Lenoris is not here, right? Just for this exercise we're doing of filling air. So if you don't have Lenoris Sellers, you have obviously Cutter Woods and Aaron Nolan are sitting here right now. Aaron Nolan was brought in to be the heir apparent. Well, let's just be honest here. And now he's falling behind Cutter Woods. It feels right now. But if you're Shane Beamer, let's just be real for a second. And you and I talk on the stream, no one can hear us. You have a make or break season as a head coach next year. Are you going to hand the keys to Cutter Woods or Aaron Nolan in your make or break season? Or are you going to bring a veteran guy in from the portal?
I think you're going vet. I mean, you have to almost, right?
And maybe you have the perfect scenario. If Lenoris does go to the draft, maybe your new OC brings his quarterback with him.
Exactly. And look, worst case, if you bring that guy in and these guys duke it out in camp and then Cutter wins the job or air, so be it. That's right. But I think you don't know what's going to happen until you go out there and hopefully get a vet to come in and just bring some competition to the room.
And again, timing is weird because you're going to hire an OC before Lenoris is going to make his decision. So it's kind of weird because a quarterback is going to go, yeah, I'll come along. Lenoris Sellers might still be there. Screw that. So the timing could hurt that scenario.
The whole schedule's
But
messed up.
yeah, but anyway, I think if Lenoris does leave, I do think you have to go portal shopping.
I think so too.
All right, early signing day special 2025, sponsored by Firehouse Subs, live from Firehouse on Main Street in Columbia. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour is next on the game.
At AAA Heating and Air, they have got your back. They're offering up to 12-month payment plans on repairs with no credit check. That's right. No need to worry about your credit score. As long as you're a homeowner with a valid bank account, you'll be good to go. So, on top of that, you're a small business owner, church, or other entity that is in need of a new HVAC system, AAA has exciting news for you. AAA now offers financing to qualified organizations to aid them in installing a new light commercial HVAC system. That's right. So it's as easy as calling AAA for a quote or finding them online at callAAAtoday.com. Tell them Bob and Sherry sent you. So take control of your company today. Give them a call, 803-677-1500. Again, the number calls 803-677-1500. And breathe easy again. Having a great signing day so far?
Oh, I was like, oh my Jesus, you want some fries? They just came up.
Here we go. Yeah, me too. All right, here we go, fellas. Early signing day, 2025. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are at Firehouse Subs Main Street in Columbia. Terry Ford in for Tyler Head today. Jack Belcher, Gamecock Central. Chris Clark, Gamecock Central. Wes Mitchell, Gamecock Central. We'll get to the latest news and what's going on with South Carolina for early signing day and also the country. There's some interesting stuff going around the country as well. But first, I have not had these French fries until today.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
These fries, what? Again, you guys are a smooth running machine on these things now. I don't need to be hovering around these shows. I should pretend I'm doing something important and come out and then act like, I'm here to supervise and make sure everything's going well. By the way, here's some French fries. Between Jeannie and you guys, this thing is a well-oiled machine when you come out. So I don't need to come around and hover anymore.
Yeah.
Not like back in the day when we were making sure we were at the right location.
Yeah. Well,
And the doors were open, remember?
Wait, what happened?
Oh, we've got stories.
that's probably for another.
That's another.
Yeah.
That's a podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love Larry and the folks at Firehouse, and they sponsor this every year for us. And the people here, Main Street. I mean, we have a table full of subs. It's phenomenal.
So what's your fry
One of
rating?
the biggest.
That is it. When I scale 1 to 10, those fries are a 12.
Yes.
They're phenomenal.
And everything at Firehouse is automatically a 10. At least.
I make sure to get enough for everybody. So, but
You did a
that,
great job because the table is that's like a double table.
Yeah.
Two tables put together.
and honestly, I don't even feel like I didn't put that much down, but it ended up just being.
I'll be honest. We don't need Dreamy Josh anymore. Jack has taken over. Jack was the man on this. I mean, Josh sometimes is underwhelming.
Well, he's got meetings.
That's true. You know what's funny about him? Typically, for some reason, he's always available for this show.
It is
So something must be up.
great coincidence.
Maybe Mrs. Dreamy Yellman told Josh that he had places to be today. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's the CEO right there.
That's right.
Absolutely. So no Josh, but Jack stepped in and did a phenomenal job.
I said, let me get the pen and I'll cook real quick.
Excellent work by Jack Beltry. And I'm knocking down the that steam was
It's so good.
Next break, I'm going to go hit more. On the other side, we're going to talk to Darius Gray.
11:15. Darius Gray signed his letter of intent. Darius Gray is in. We've got 7 so far that have signed.
So let me ask you a question, Chris, because you mentioned at the end of the last hour that there was some smoke with LSU and Duck. What, like,
This was
is it just is it Lane Kiffin and like the aura that he has? And what is it?
I mean, look, I mentioned that in the last segment, the connection there in that two different kind of sides to this thing. So when Lane Kiffin was at Ole Miss, he was recruiting Landon Duckworth, so you got that. You've also got that even under Brian Kelly's LSU staff, they were recruiting Duckworth. Those two schools were tightly battling for Duckworth when he made his second commitment. Remember, Duckworth, very early commitment to South Carolina, really early in the process.
Right.
Back away from that, reopened the process, eventually comes full circle, he recommits. And it's really been interesting following this one, guys, because it has gone back and forth a lot to where, several weeks back, Duckworth said my recruitment is shut down again.
Right.
But then you kind of check behind the scenes, some other schools are still sniffing around a little bit. You did have to wonder when Lane Kiffin gets to LSU, given that double connection, the LSU connection, the Lane Kiffin connection from this time to Ole Miss, do they circle back? So last night it came out that they were still in communication and the Duckworth was still listening. There was some thought about, when is he going to sign? And some of that seemed to be a little bit of miscommunication maybe on the siding, but also Duckworth, came out and said publicly he's going to sign today, and then behind the scenes, everything looked pretty buttoned up for South Carolina in terms of him going to sign to South Carolina. But honestly, guys, just doing this for a while, sometimes that's the way it goes. Yep. These schools continue communicating. You're in the NIL era. Things can get a little bit wild at the end. And so we're literally actively working on this story, working the phones as we're on air and during breaks here. But Steve Wilfong from On3 has predicted Duckworth to LSU, and from what we've gathered behind the scenes, that there is some legitimate concern that may happen. Will it? When? I couldn't tell you for sure, but Jack, to go back to your original question, like how and why did this happen? I mean, you just kind of chalk it up to recruiting in 2025. If there's a door open, a school might take it. And look, man, we've seen a lot. It's not just here at South Carolina thing that we're seeing flips. I mean, I'd hate to see my screen time spent on 3 and on social media looking at all this stuff in the last couple of weeks, because you've got a really volatile coaching carousel, and that I think has amplified some of this stuff to where there's just a lot of volatility in recruiting now too. In the early signing period, we're seeing flips back and forth and all sorts of stuff right now. So we'll keep monitoring that one and seeing, but certainly worth monitoring. Just coming into this morning, you thought maybe things would be all right.
No Auburn in this, right?
That hasn't been a sniff of Auburn lately.
Because they were one of the finalists for.
They were in the mix too.
Right.
Certainly there at the end when Hugh Freeze was still on staff, we hadn't heard anything about them late. But LSU on multiple different occasions, like different points in this recruitment, has been in the mix, and so they're the one right now that looks like the really significant threat.
And to your point, I mean, again, we were talking about this earlier. Southern Cal reportedly has spent $9 million in their recruiting class this year. Southern Cal. $9 million.
That's extremely low.
For a recruiting class?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Really?
Yeah, it's really low.
How much? And that's a little bit of a point to you, because you know this better than I do any day. And they just go over going $9 million spent by Southern Cal. I think what 30? How many kids at Southern Cal?
34.
Yeah, and it's ESPN has it as their best recruiting class. It's a top 10, top 15, wherever in other places. How much? Okay, if $9 million is, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Then tell me, for example, one that you would go, oh my God, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, and I would need to see the content. Was the $9 million like just for the high school class? Because presumably they'll have a portal class.
It was just for the high school.
The portal numbers get even higher. So just to give you an example, just from talking to a bunch of different sources, most high-level Power 4 teams for the 2026 team roster. So when you count that, and when I said that was low, Terry, that's actually, I kind of misspoke there. That's actually a lot for a recruiting class.
For high school players, yes.
I was kind of thinking a full team budget, right?
According to ESPN's article, it's just for the high school.
So let's think of full team. So that is high. So full team budget for next year. So that's counting recruiting class, retaining your roster, and also your transfer portal class. All three of those things. Most high-level Power 4 teams are going to spend between $25 and $30 million next year on all those things. So yeah, if you look at 9, kind of looking at it's a big class for Southern Cal. Like you said, if you got 30 guys, I mean that's a third, between a third and a quarter of your roster. You project that out, you can see where they might spend $30 million. So certainly, schools like Texas A&M, Texas Tech, all Texas seems to be a theme. All Texas schools, there are certainly others, but those schools are certainly thought to be in that $30 million range this year. But frankly, most Power 4 teams in the SEC, Big Ten especially, are going to be in that range.
And I want to that point, I want to hit that one more. On3 put out a post. This was at the beginning of the year. Matter of fact, before the start of the football season. The 10 biggest spenders in college football. Ready? Texas. How are they doing this year? College football playoff. I really look at as underachievers, right?
Yeah.
Preseason number 1 by a lot of people. Texas Tech. How are they doing now? Well, they're a lot better since they started spending a lot of money.
They're spending money everywhere.
Yes. I think they spent $3 million on their mascot. Ohio State number 3 spent. Oregon number 4 spent. Texas A&M number 5, Miami 6, Michigan 7, Southern Cal 8, Tennessee 9, Auburn 10.
I'll let
What
you
does it
know,
tell you?
a couple of those have been
Uh-huh.
maybe relative to the RM, like in an ROI standpoint, and like Auburn would be the best example.
Yeah, and Tennessee's only winning 8 this year. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Southern
what
Cal's been a little disappointing, but the point, most of those teams are college football playoff, right? So it's super competitive right now. And if you don't, frankly, if you don't spend in that range that I mentioned, 25, 30 million, you're going to have a hard time. You can't say if you spend this, you'll make the playoffs, because the example you just gave, if you don't spend it, good luck.
It's tough. I mean, now you've got to do all the other things really well, right, Chris? You've got to develop on a high level. You got to have systems of offense and defense on a high level that you execute. All these things you got to make up for if you can't spend the money to bring in the dudes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the more dudes, the easier this whole thing
Well,
is.
and that's something I've always said. Like, there's, spending doesn't guarantee winning by any means. But there's kind of a pay to play. It's like you go to the blackjack table. You gotta put something in, and there's kind of a minimum cost, I think, and then there's are you really going to try to compete cost? And it doesn't guarantee success, but when you look around at what everybody else is doing, it makes it. You need all the pieces, right? You need coaching, you need culture, you need a schedule. A lot of times it's a little bit more favorable and forgiving. South Carolina's not had that seemingly ever. You need some luck, frankly, along the way. But I mean, the NIL era it's opened up. That's the reason the school like Texas Tech can come in and say, and I'm not faulting them for it. Literally not being negative at all. They can come in and say, we're gonna. When I say buy a roster, like yes, that's true, but that just means they're going to be really competitive with what they can offer, and frankly, you have to do that nowadays.
Well, and to this point, I mean, we've heard blatantly LSU said we're going to put X amount of more millions investment in the football program besides the rev share going through NIL.
Yes.
BYU just said it yesterday to keep their head coach Sataki. They said we're going to invest even more money through the collective angle to go with the rev share. And BYU's got dough, man. I mean, look at their basketball roster right now. So throw that in, Chris. So everybody thought, oh, rev share is going to level this. No, because what's going to happen is everybody's looking to manipulate everything around the rev share, and you're seeing LSU throw millions outside the rev share. BYU is going to do it. Look, it's a reality. We can all sit here and scream and yell, but you better be able to write checks. Because writing checks gets you better dudes, and better dudes help you get more of an opportunity to get where you want to go.
Yeah, there's never been a team that's won a college football championship that you look at and you go, man, that was the little engine that could. It just, you look at them and they're loaded with talent.
You're not going to find a bunch of guys in the flag football league you're going to bring over and win a national championship.
Yeah. So you got to go above the cap. You got to be, very creative in how you're doing those things. And I think a lot of people kind of wish cast it. When rev share comes along, it'll even things out. It didn't. It didn't, frankly. And really, a lot of people talk about the haves and have-nots. I think most schools who have institutional money, public schools, private schools, they're on an even playing field in the way that you can find creative ways to divert funds and things like that to go above the cap. I mean, I don't know where we'll be in 3 years. Maybe we have an actual structure. Or maybe we're hearing about the schools in Texas spending $100 million on their roster, because the number, a lot of people wish casted, well, the numbers will even out. They have not evened out. They continue to go up and up and up, and I think that will also continue.
All right, Darius Gray, top-ranked recruit in the South Carolina 2025 class. We'll pop in here next with Chris and Wes and Jack. Terry Ford in for Tyler. Ed Bird back in the studio. Thomas here on site. It is our 2025 early signing day special, sponsored by Firehouse Subs, live from Firehouse Main Street in Columbia. Darius Gray next.
Do you know if there's a read on here at all? Do we have any reads?
You have Krantz here. Krantz is here.
everybody, let's tell you about our friends over at Krantz Cooling and Heating. As you all know, certainly my preferred HVAC service company, local, reliable, family owned. They've been at it since 1983. I know Justin Krantz, their general manager over there. Personally, he and his team do a phenomenal job with anything that you may need at your home. From a residential or commercial standpoint, they can take care of your home's HVAC system. If you're a business owner, you've got commercial HVAC, they can do all of that for you too. Installation, maintenance, repairs. You can join the Krantz Club if you're a homeowner to make sure that you're staying on top of any HVAC issues. They're going to come out and do inspections, let you know what's going on, and that everything's running in tip-top shape. They've been in my home, they've been to West Side. Let them come out to your home or business as well. KrantzCooling.com. That's KRANTZ, cooling with a K. KrantzCooling.com. Go there to book an appointment and get more information today. KrantzCooling.com.
Nick Sharp put out a tweet that he's transferring. One of our live guys.
Wow.
Yes.
Y'all were talking about Tree. Tree's probably going to transfer too.
That's what you can do.
A lot of stuff to pick from. I thought it was really good. He told me to try it. So.
It's good.
Yeah. I told I never had to. You got to try it.
He's been very consistent.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
The only thing about this is can't double dip.
I know,
You
I know.
probably should double dip.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking the same thing. Like, okay. I said, why don't you do it? We don't go for good.
You double dip chips.
Right.
And then you dipped again.
You dipped.
You dipped
You
again.
dipped again.
It's like putting your whole mouth in the
Yeah.
dip.
All right, you got to tell me.
Oh, yeah.
I sent this to somebody this morning.
I saw that.
And that's literally where I got that idea from.
Hey guys, we don't have we don't have links for like the you know when we do the transfer stories, we don't have like those links to put in yet, right? Like in the middle, four different links.
I have been working on them, but I haven't.
I know it's a busy time.
No, I just haven't made them live yet because there haven't really been any transfers yet. So for this one,
Just,
don't worry about it. And then, but now there's been a transfer.
yeah.
I'll probably pop it live.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, Ed, you have Darius Gray? All right, cool. Darius Gray's on the line, fellas. Here we go. Look, I'll open it up and hand it off, and you guys go for it, okay?
Probably need to test it. So. This one's
Should I test? Or should I just hop on the jack?
Come on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll put it on. Go ahead.
I'll let you guys.
That'd be better. Not to not have you on just. I mean, not have on that headset.
It's all good.
Be better.
2025 early signing day special, sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are live at Firehouse Main Street, Columbia. Wes Mitchell jumping in with us now, Chris Clark from Gamecock Central, and we bring in, we can say it now, it's officially signed, South Carolina Gamecock interior offensive lineman Darius Gray. Darius, thanks for hopping on the game. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Hey Darius, what's up, man? It's Wes. Congrats on the big day, man. I was going back and looking. I feel like, man, it's been a long time coming for you. Like, I think you were first being recruited by South Carolina or first on campus. Like, was it your 8th grade or 9th grade year, going into your 9th grade year maybe? So just can you take us through, like, the emotions, the feelings, what it was like to sign today, and just what this entire journey has been as you ultimately picked South Carolina and signed with the Gamecocks?
Yeah, it's been a blessing, honestly. South Carolina was kind of one of the early schools that kind of jumped into my recruitment. I think it was actually the 8th grade summer into my freshman year, so you got that correct. So it's been a long time. I think survey posted was about 1,200 days or something like that. But it's been a blessing, and I'm very happy to officially end it. And I felt like it's been ended for me, but now it's just kind of pen to paper. So I'm just excited to get ready and excited to go to work.
Darius, is Chris. Congrats, man, and thanks for taking time in your busy day to join us here. So, obviously, there were some coaching changes in Columbia, most notably with Monty Teasley. So I got to ask you about that. You seem like a guy that always stayed really solid, never really wavered in your commitment. I'm sure some other schools tried, but how did you and your family navigate, hey, I made a commitment somewhere, one of the coaches that I was going to play for and had a big hand in my recruitment is no longer with the program? Like, what were those conversations like with your family? What were the conversations like with Shane Beamer? How did you navigate that whole process?
Yeah, so with the family, it was kind of, obvious. We didn't pick the school because of the coach, even though Coach Teasley was a big part. But there was a lot of different factors that made me choose South Carolina. And when he, got let go, it was very disappointing. But at the end of the day, we still was there for South Carolina, the fan base, the future teammates, the other coaching staff is there. So we just had to, it was tough, but we just had to get through it, and we understood that, like, there's no point of taking, other visits, because at the end of the day, that's kind of how college football is now. A bad season, a lot of coaches are now getting let go. So there's no point of jumping around, because it might happen to the school that I might be looking at that, quote unquote stable right now. So, but with Coach Beamer, it was pretty solid. He let me know before it kind of went public, which was very appreciated for me, and he kind of told me that Coach Elliott was going to take over. I do not know who's going to be there, but it does sound like Coach Elliott will be a guy that is there, next year. So I'm excited to get to work with Coach Elliott, and we've been able to grow a great bond over the time while he was the O-line coach.
Hey, Darius, I feel like a lot of times, a lot of the guys working behind the scenes of the school don't always get all the attention or all the love. I know you mentioned Sam Survey earlier. What has his relationship kind of meant to you, and how did he maybe help you just navigate this entire thing over these 3 or 4 years from a South Carolina perspective?
Yeah, he's done a great job. I remember when he got promoted to director of recruiting, and I've kind of been able to see his journey as well. And, Coach Survey is somebody who's never really changed, and he became family over time. So I've been very thankful for him, and he kind of gave me, the input on what South Carolina is and what South Carolina could bring to me and my family. So he's done a great job.
Darius, let's move on the field, man. It's kind of a two-part question here for you. First of all, what is the coaching staff of South Carolina? Where they talk to you about playing? I know you're a versatile guy. So kind of, hey, might be any of the 5 positions up front. We'll figure it out once you get here. And then secondly, what kind of player is South Carolina getting in Darius Gray? What are you going to bring to the program? What can fans expect?
Yeah, so, Coach Elliott kind of made it that he kind of wants me to be a guy that moves in space. So somewhere around tackles, or if you do a lot of guard pulls, and maybe guard. But I can promise that, South Carolina is getting a guy that wants to win. That's number one. I want to do anything I can to win. Would do whatever it takes to be the best teammate I can be. And definitely just, for me, it's, the better teammate I am, the more people's lives I can make, like with the supporters. And that's kind of big to me. So once I kind of get that status of being a solid old lineman, and guys kind of look up to me outside of the, football field, I would love to get back. So that's kind of a guy to get out of me on the football field. And I'm here trying to do whatever I can to win the national championship.
Talking to South Carolina offensive line signing now, Darius Gray. Darius, what do you think the process is going to be once you get here and start to get acclimated to just SEC life and college life and all those things? Like, you seem like you're thoughtful, you're kind of specific in your answers, so I imagine you've kind of thought about that. What do you think the key factors are going to be for you to kind of make that quick transition to the next level?
Yeah, I think the quickest transition is definitely, getting uncomfortable, being comfortable. It's definitely going to be uncomfortable situations as soon as I get there in the summer, and that's the fun part. That's the part that's hard, and that's the part I kind of enjoy. So being able to do that, and then, obviously having to put on some weight. I'm a little light here, but I've been putting on slowly, and I'm currently at 275 now. And, then it's just getting to know the playbook, getting to know the guys that's around me, and getting closer with the coaching staff. So that would be
Darius,
first
got
step.
a couple more minutes. Sorry, man. We got a couple more minutes here, Darius.
Yes, sir.
Before we got to hit a hard break, but wanted to ask you here, Shane Beamer, you talked about him earlier in his program. What would be your message to South Carolina fans as to, going back to why you stuck with the program and then just what you saw out of Shane Beamer and kind of his vision for the program, the trajectory of the program going forward? And that can be, what you would tell Gamecock fans, it can be just what you think of why you decided to stick with things here.
Yeah, in my opinion, I believe that, everybody has bad years, and Coach Beamer is a guy that's going to stick with what's right, and he's done a great job so far. This season was very, not expected from a lot of people, but I believe strongly that, Coach Beamer will come back next year, and it's not just Coach Beamer. I mean, it goes from Coach Beamer all the way down to the janitors, the students. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, everybody's one. So it takes a unit, it takes a team, it takes everybody, and we're going to try and do our best to do what we can to win.
Brand new offensive lineman, Gamecock offensive lineman Darius Gray signing his letter of intent, what do we call it today? It's a fancy new word for it, whatever it is. Darius, first of all, congratulations, my man. Congratulations on being a Gamecock.
Thank you.
It's a big day for you and the family. And thank you for spending some time with us today here on the show. Thanks a lot and good luck, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty. Our 2025 early signing day special. We are live here at Firehouse Subs, Main Street in Columbia. And, of course, we always appreciate Larry and the crew at Firehouse for sponsoring our early signing day shows every year. Chris Clark is here, Gamecock Central. West Mitchell, Gamecock Central. Jack Peltry, Gamecock Central. Thomas is here, making sure we stay on the air. Terry Ford in for Tyler Edberg back at the studio. We go till noon here on the game.
He's got a great mom, too. All right, everybody, let's tell you about our friends over at Integrated Media. You hear about them on the program every day. So glad these guys are around because they can be such a true one-stop shop for your family's tech needs. You can do anything that you can dream up from a tech standpoint and audio-visual standpoint at your home. Everything from mounting new TVs, wireless speakers, making sure that your Wi-Fi is in tip-top shape for all the streaming inside and outside of your home. They can even do security and cameras. Just give them a call, 803-948-8327. Again, if it's something as easy as, hey, we need a new TV, what's the best kind? You don't have to go to the big box stores to get poor service. You don't have to go all the options online. Michael, Nathan, and Ian can let you know what's the best, what you need, what fits your home. They'll come out and install it for you. They can also do security cameras, complete smart home systems, and much more. 803-948-8327 or integratedmediainc.com. Check them out today. All right, Jack, it's time for a big old one. Words were making out of your mouth. I didn't even need it.
Took the words out of my mouth.
I'm running this anyway. So there's always that 1% that can get away with it. That's exactly where you run.
He's been injured. How many times has he been injured?
Really isn't tired.
Yeah, he still bounces back. All right, the last one.
You have plenty of decisions to say.
Yes, exactly. Now, I'll ask you guys to do the firehouse excellence. All those locations?
Not all of them yet.
Lot of field locations like that.
And different sauces.
Yeah.
Like different sauces. That's what you've got. Yeah, I'm digging the fries. Really good.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think they're up to 8 now on the site.
Oh, cool. All right, let's get it all reset here.
And then Sharp, there's a portal.
All right.
Not used to this.
Live from Firehouse Subs, Main Street in Columbia. Keeping you up to date on what's going on with the Gamecocks. Early signing day 2025. We'll get that caught up real quick. Jack Belcher, Gamecock Central, also Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, Gamecock Central. Thomas is here. Keeping us on the air on site. Ed Bird back in the studio. Terry Ford hanging in for Tyler. He'll be back tomorrow. We're up to 8 now, Jack Belcher?
I believe so. So you got KJ Johnson, who DB of Victorian Gray in this class is signed now. So should be at 8. Math is math in here.
7 plus 1, what do you think?
I don't know. It's like 10 to me.
Get your phone out. Get your phone out.
We are, depending on how you look at the whole Duckworth thing, you're up to 8. So about 5 or 6 commits away from having the full signing class. Hopefully you get a few flips in there. Hopefully you don't lose anybody. But so far, still so good, I would say.
Basically, in case someone just jumped in to listen, Landon Duckworth, the quarterback that has been committed to South Carolina originally, then decommitted, recommitted, shut down his recruitment in the last couple months, I guess it was, Jeff?
Yeah, it wasn't that. I think it was probably back like October.
So he shut down his recruitment.
Yes, they shut it down.
And now it's obviously not as shut down as we thought.
No.
LSU and Lane Kiffin, it's like Chris said, Lane Kiffin was recruiting Duckworth at Ole Miss. Now Lane Kiffin putting the full court press on Landon Duckworth here at the last minute. to see if LSU can flip the 4-star quarterback from Alabama from South Carolina to LSU.
That was a whole complicated way to.
I don't know what the heck I just said, by the way.
It sounded like he was at Alabama, then flipped to South Carolina, then flipped
He's from Alabama.
He's from
He,
Alabama.
high school in Alabama.
Yeah. Steve Fongbaum put out a prediction on LSU potentially flipped upward. So
We'll see where it goes.
that's the news to keep an eye on as of right now.
Now we're looking at the running back Baker. Haven't heard anything. Florida decommitted from Florida. South Carolina's looking to flip him. No news yet.
Yeah, so you got to hold off against schools like UNC and Florida. Obviously, Florida just hired John Sumrall, so they're going to give it a shot and see if they can get him to stay on board with the Gators. But I'm sure South Carolina's going to be pushing hard for him. They lost Amari Thomas. He was at Florida State, committed there, decommitted, flipped to South Carolina, and flipped back to FSU. So you want to go out here, get a running back, especially since you're losing Oscar Adaway and Rasul Faison.
Right.
You're probably going to need a running back anyway.
Yeah, that's my guess. You went to Portland and grab it up. And again, you've got Augusta still sitting around here.
I don't know
What's the deal with that?
Honestly,
Couple brother out on this.
that might be a great question to ask Shane at the end of the year. There were weeks where he wasn't on the travel roster. Like, I don't know.
And he's still eligibility, so I
But
who
it's
knows?
but here's the thing. I think you brought him in so
Hey,
late.
I remember you brought him in too, just in case you didn't get phased on.
So I think it kind of felt like a safety blanket type of option, and it's just like I just don't know if they're gonna. I don't know.
It is an interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Julian Walker, the latest is Walker has pushed his signing announcement until tomorrow now. To me, that's good news if you're a Gamecock fan because it means he's thinking.
He is thinking.
Because if he was all in on Michigan, he would have signed today. He's pushing to tomorrow, so we'll see where that goes with the 4-star edge. Played at Dutch Fork. We'll see what happens with Julian Walker. We have some transfer portal news from South Carolina.
Yep.
First one, get it.
The first one of the cycle is none other than offensive lineman Nick Sharp, who started 5 games for South Carolina this year. Kind of got lost in the shuffle at the start of the year. He had dealt with some injuries going back to the spring, so he missed the entire spring. Had to kind of work his way back, and he eventually, how South Carolina dealt with offensive line injuries this year, eventually got his chance to play. And look, he was only here for 1 season, spent 4 years at Wake Forest. He's a grad transfer, so he'll get 1 more year of eligibility somewhere else. And I think this is probably going to be the first of a lot of portal entries, but more so specifically on the offensive line, just because after the year you had giving up 42 sacks on Lenore Sellers, I feel like you got to kind of overhaul this OL and just go out there and rebrand it.
I mean, look, and this isn't a high bar because of the way this offensive line struggled, but Sharp might have been, he was one of the better offensive linemen we had. But again, that's not saying a lot because everybody had their struggles this year. And, with Sharp, real quick, let me get this real quick. Jumping down. Of course, my computer's running out of stuff.
What are you looking for?
I'm just going to go to Sharp's blocking grades. Nick Sharp this year, offensive line was.
It was never that great.
No, he was, again, 70 is where you want to be.
So
he was at 66.
They do a tier system. So it's like starter is like that 70 to like 70.
Anything under 70 is like,
You're a bench player.
Right, and Sharp was 66. But to your point of that, ready? This is what's interesting about this team when it came to the offensive line. The only guy above average into that starter area we're talking about in the 70 grade was Casey Henry.
And he was
got hurt.
out for 2.5 months.
No one else was over 70. And I'll go down the list here, and these guys played X amount of games. Nolan Hay, Nick Sharp, Tree Babalade, Shed Sarai, obviously Josiah Thompson struggled, Marquis Anderson. All these guys we're looking at, Trevon Ball, Rodney Newsom, all of them were under the 70. And look, and again, not to pick on anybody or be mean, but Josiah Thompson ended his year on a grade of 49. 49, Jack.
This was an all SEC freshman.
Yeah, I mean, and then,
I don't know what happened this year.
And you go up to Boaz Stanley was brought in to put some stability at center.
And he was great when he was. And maybe that's the other thing here is that they went out and got guys. You know, the Torsilli Simpkins example is interesting because he came from NC Central and had a really good season in South Carolina. You bring in Boaz Stanley, who was at like Troy. You bring in a lot of guys from those Group of 5 schools.
Newsome.
Yeah, and it's like it just didn't translate.
No, I mean, Trevon Ball was only a 55 grade. I mean, and Marky Anderson, who never stay healthy, was like a 59.6.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
So my point is, I think you hit it on the head. Look, you don't. Again, I'm trying not to be mean.
Constructive, I
But
think.
constructive is a nice way to say it. Basically, losing folks off this offensive line,
You will be okay.
you're going to go, okay. Because like you said, it's not, look, Nick Sharp could go somewhere else and be good. I don't know. I mean, Tree Barbalani could transfer somewhere and go be good. But all I know is it didn't work. It hasn't worked in the last 4 years here. It sure didn't work this past year. And maybe sometimes you just have to bring a nice way to say a colonic to the whole thing and just clean it out and start over. And with Sean Elliott or whoever it's going to be to coach the offensive line and just a fresh approach, fresh bodies, and let's just move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Let me ask you this, okay? Let's go through it. Again, we don't know. I feel like Josiah Thompson stays. I feel like Ball stays. I don't know about Tree. I think Tree
Tree,
will
I
go.
think, well, Tree kind of disappeared.
Well, the last few games, he was like a ghost.
So
I don't know.
that doesn't
But
bode
let me ask
well,
you
I
this:
don't think.
are you going to be surprised if any of them? If I give you any name tomorrow that hits a portal off the offensive line, you're going to be surprised? No, me either.
I would not put any name on this list.
Same here. So Nick Sharp hits the portal, and he'll have a year left. And look, Nick Sharp was good at Wake Forest, especially his pass blocking grades were excellent at Wake Forest. And again, he was hurt, kind of disappeared, then popped, then played a little bit, backed it up, played, then came back and played him. That was the other thing about this offensive line. The only one guy who was like hurt to miss a long time was obviously, unfortunately, their best offensive line, Casey Henry.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it felt like there was no cohesion. And I guess part of that was they struggled so much. You were always looking for the answers, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hopefully you can get back to having a foundation on the offensive line with the high school guys you're bringing in, the transfer portal guys you'll bring in, the guys you're bringing back. I think, in these exit meetings for South Carolina, who knows what's being said, but I have a feeling it's like, all right, they're going to really try to weed out the issues that they had last year and go into this offseason. Because Shane knows as well as anyone, like, he is probably coaching for his job heading into 2026.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue with Shane is, look, you're coming up with 4 names.
You got to do better.
You got to do much better than that next year. And again, when you're coaching to keep your job, you have to have a sense of urgency in how you put this thing together. A sense of urgency.
Got to hire a coordinator first.
You got to get that right.
Yeah.
And then you're going to talk about the quarterback situation. That's going to be gigantic. What happens when Lenore Sellers leaves in the draft? Now, what do you do? I mean, to me, you got to bring the quarterback.
Have to.
You just have to. Interesting little deal going on. Oh, Jared Curtis, by the way, made an official with Vandy. He said,
Okay.
flip from Georgia to Vandy.
I still think it's mind-blowing.
It's just
mind-blowing.
saying it out loud, you go, wow.
It's just like, wow,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
There's another interesting deal going on. Chris Henry Jr. has been verbal to Ohio State for a long time. He still has not signed his national letter of intent. Brian Hartline, the wide receiver coach / offensive coordinator at Ohio State, all the rumors he's going to be at South Florida. He hasn't done it officially since we've been talking. So Brian Hartline will go to South Florida and be the new head coach. Brian Hartline, there's no one in the country who has developed wide receivers like Brian Hartline. Ohio State
Gosh.
is a first-round machine.
They are wide receiver year.
Yes. So Hartline leaving Ohio State, how much does that affect Chris Henry Jr.'s decision right now to sign that letter to go to Ohio State?
It probably does. I mean, I talked about before, coaches aren't the main reason why you should commit to a school. Ohio State will still be fine. I'm sure they're going to go out there and get a
They'll
great
survive.
quarterback.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it probably changes the perspective a little bit. It makes you reconsider everything to a certain extent.
Because Oregon and Southern Cal are also chasing Chris Henry Jr.
And Oregon's also going after an OC now.
Absolutely. All right. Our 2025 early signing day special sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We are at Firehouse Subs, Main Street in Columbia. We'll come back, keep you updated on what's going on with the Gamecocks early signing day next. From the game.
Do you have a contact number for Jordan Knox? I don't know. I got a message from one of the guys in KSR. He says that he wrote something on
Where'd you live on campus? Where were you at?
I didn't live on campus. I didn't go here my freshman year.
Where'd you go freshman year?
USC Buford.
Yeah, I'm from Buford.
Nice. Yeah. I went to school there.
Sure.
Yeah.
My house is right there by high school.
My wife was
Yeah.
They don't work for you.
What's that?
So they don't work for you. I love these things.
keeping you up to date on what's going on. Early signing day 2025. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. We're in the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour right now. Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, Gamecock Central, Jack Belcher, Gamecock Central as well. Thank our brother Thomas here, making sure everything's technically on site. And then Bird back to the studio. Terry Ford, hanging in for Tyler. We'll get this out of the way, then we'll move forward. So I have a bank app because you know I'm worth millions. And you guys have the ability with your banking app. Do you get alerts when stuff gets hit out of your bank account?
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
I'm sitting here today watching this happen to me, and I'm thinking to someone, going, why the hell did I get alerts? Because all I'm doing is watching, like, you know, auto drafts of stuff that I have, watching it pop, and I'm going, I don't want to see this anymore. I'm just watching my money disintegrate as I'm sitting here doing the show. I'm like, I'm getting rid of these alerts. I don't want to know anymore.
How much money have you spent on Passport for parking?
Today,
That thing is so ridiculous.
my phone is on fire from passports. I could only do X amount of time and have to do a new session.
That's all.
So, yeah.
It's terrible.
Between passport and I'm watching, it comes up and goes, my bank app will come and go, hey, there's been an online charge. Then you're going to sit there and do this, ready? Okay, is it legit or somebody hit my bank account? So now I'm sitting there going, all right, I guess I'm looking at this mess. I'm totally thrown. Like this one just came through right now for $100,000. Should I be worried?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I always say this for fun. I want someone to steal my identity so I can get a new one, but they can't give it back. Once they take it, dude, you keep that one. You get that crap. I want a new one. I don't want this one anymore.
Yeah, they might bring that thing back. And
Like, hi, I was sitting in my parents' basement. I stole your identity. Here, take it back. All right, fellas, let's get everybody caught up. Someone just started listening to get what's happening. Eight signees so far. Is that what we got officially inked up?
Yes. Any more after KJ Johnson?
after KJ, no.
So the count would be at 8.
Okay. All right. So after that, obviously, so they have Darius Gray, Zion Giles, Noah Clark, Cassie Barnes, Keenan Britt, KJ Johnson, Caden Ramsey, and Anthony Baxter are in. They are waiting on Tristan Lewis, who I think his ceremony is tomorrow. I mean, there's no concerns on that one. Everything's fine there. Obviously, there are concerns on the North there. I don't think Stockton's going to get up on that. So it turns a lot of times with these guys. So we'll keep tracking that on Gamecock Central. Waiting on Xavier Currents, Aiden Harris, and Andrew Harris, the twins.
Any concerns there, those guys at all?
We'll check on those guys because, I mean, you're kind of getting at the point of the day where it's like you do start to check. Like, is there a reason why a lot of times there'll be a ceremony maybe, and sometimes they have a ceremony, but they'll send them in early. Other times they'll wait till the ceremony, and so we'll see. And Sequel Patterson, 4-star receiver from Indian Land up here, Fort Mill. He is not sent in his yet either. So, it's 11:53 right now. We'll be checking on all those guys soon just to make sure there's nothing there, I guess.
And South Carolina, if everything holds, and again, the Duckworth thing is fluid, right now a top 20 class in the country if you look at the on-3 metrics. And I was looking at the on-3 metrics, and I was telling Jack, the good news is you're in the top 20. The funniest part is you're 9th in the SEC. That's the world you live in. 15 of the top 30 classes coming into today are SEC classes according to On3.
Yeah, and that's kind of indication.
Yeah.
You hope if you're South Carolina, you bridge the gap with transfer portal by doing better there. And, frankly, when you're talking about number 20 class versus number 14 class versus a number 25 class, that may be one or two players that are the difference. And now I think once you start getting in to a top 5 class, a lot of times, at least traditionally before, it's a little bit more spread out than it used to be, but traditionally a top 2 or 3 class, you're talking just stacked with 5 stars and 4 stars. So, for South Carolina, the key has always been, in my opinion, did you evaluate and can you develop those guys that are listed as 3-star prospects? They may not be 3-star talents. They may be better than that, but you have to hope you've evaluated well at those spots. You look at the best teams in South Carolina history. I always tell everybody, for every Jadeveon Clowney, there was a Devin Taylor.
Mhm.
And Dev was a 3-star guy who started opposite of David Klein.
There you go. All right, Wes Mitchell and Chris Clark and Jack Belcher keep you updated all day on Gamecock Central. Will also keep you updated throughout the rest of the day. Bill Gunner and the halftime show along with David Darius coming next. Thanks to Larry and the folks at Firehouse for sponsoring us once again, doing our early signing show, and letting us come hang out here and eat great Firehouse on Main Street in Columbia. We'll talk to you. All right, good job. Appreciate you, Ed Bird.
Thank you, Bird.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Find more fellas.
Thank you for
Good job.
bearing with us, Terry,
Dude.
with everything going on.
All good.
Did not know where that story was going. I was like,
I'm
whoa.
sitting here, right? And I'm just watching
So
shit
did-
come through my phone over and over, like
Did somebody hack your thing?
I was kidding about like watching like those little $14.99s and $9.99s and 22. I'm going, Jesus God, man.
Passport's taking you for all your work.
I know.
Yeah, maybe not at 2. We'll do it after 2.
What have you got?
Yeah. Start unplugging it.
I was thinking about it.
You take it all in your rig?
Jeannie said she would be coming back. She had a meeting she had to do too.
Yeah, she had her 10 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably went to that. And once that's over, that should be over by now.
Yeah.
One of us.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Duckworth, because if he doesn't sign, then